Live from twitch.tv and youtube.com, it's Vtuber Talk. Tonight's guest is Amai. And now, blasting off again, here's your host, Jay. Hello and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host Jay and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations with people who are already familiar with the guest while still being accessible for new fans. Please welcome my guest for this evening, Amai.
Hello, hi everybody. I hope you're all doing well tonight.
Hello, Amai. I am so glad to have you here this evening. I know that most folks in the chat are already... Yeah. I know most folks in chat are familiar with you, but for anyone who isn't, if you could introduce yourself.
Alrighty. Hi everybody. My name is Amai. I am a small Snowfox VTuber, and I typically enjoy creating variety content over on my channel. It's mostly gaming, but we also enjoy karaoke nights every once in a while. And yeah, I'm just super happy to be here with you all.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you were able to make time because you've been very busy lately. You're busy at most times, admittedly, but even busier than normal because you just wrapped up a big move.
I did, yes. I'm still unpacking. You know, I built some furniture this past weekend and also decorated my Christmas tree, so that was really exciting.
Yay, yeah, 'tis the season.
'Tis the season, yes. I decided to go with like a red and white kind of peppermint theme this year.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
What's your favorite part about the new place? You know, is there either a space that you didn't have before or just a room that is shaped the way you want it or just maybe it's a bit conveniently placed? What do you like about it?
Well, the new place is definitely larger than the old place in terms of square footage, but I think something that I was really excited for in this new place is that I actually have a dedicated like office slash streaming slash gaming room now.
Ooh.
Like before, I used to have my desk and my computer and my whole setup in my bedroom, which is not bad. But, you know, it got kind of crowded at times because, like, I had all of my my plushes and my pins and my merch things, like, all there in my room with my desk and my computer and my bed. So it was kind of a lot all together in one space. But now that I have my room, streaming room and my bedroom separate, I have a lot more space to set things up and display things and really have, like, that dedicated space just to do what I love doing.
Ah, that's very nice. That I live in a studio apartment that... It works for me. I have at least my desk and everything set up about as far from my bed as is practical, so it sort of feels like a separate room. But I can definitely appreciate that being able to have a proper, actual, separate space just has to be very nice, and especially just for setup and anything from sound treatment to just, you know, the mental space of having a different physical space, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even in a studio, you could still get that separation if you designate different areas of the room to different things. Just the room I was in before, the bedroom was pretty small, and I could literally turn my chair around and like roll off of my chair into my bed. That's how close my desk and my chair, or my desk and my bed used to be. But now they're completely separate, and it's really nice to be able to just like disconnect from whatever's going on out there or disconnect from whatever's going on in here and be able to go and have that separate space, you know?
Yeah. And you've been, like you said, unpacking, setting up, building some furniture. What's the most difficult piece that you've had to build so far?
Oh my god. IKEA furniture. Their instructions definitely need some help. Oh, the pictures...
Like, I'm fine building, like, if it's a desk, if it's something small like a desk, I will build it. If it's something big like a bed, they offer assembly services, and last time I got a bed, it was from IKEA, and I paid the little bit extra just to have the folks come out and build it. And it was so
was that
worth
good?
It.
Was that worth it?
It was so worth it. Oh my gosh, because the people that go out to build IKEA stuff do that all day. They know what to do. They were in and out in 20 minutes. It was built, and I knew it was going to be sturdy, and just for the time and hassle, and also just knowing that my bed is not going to literally collapse out from under me, it
Mm-hmm.
was absolutely worth the little bit of markup there. But, I'm not going to do that for if it's a chair
Ah.
or if it's a small
Yeah.
table. You don't need to do that. But
Yeah.
anything big, maybe.
Oh my gosh. I kind of wish I had paid the extra. I was like, oh man, how hard can it be? I can just do it myself. Because I definitely saved some money. I did all the painting myself too. So I bought like all the
Ooh.
paint and I was in here for like 4 days straight. My arms were so tired afterwards, just like painting everything before moving my furniture in. But I'd say that the hardest thing to put together, even though it seems really simple, was actually the closet setup. I'm not even done with it
Oh.
yet, truth be told. Because I bought some of those like IKEA, I think they're called packs, maybe, or something of that nature. Those closet like wardrobes, so you can customize them. And I have some like clothes hanging bars and some drawers and some shelves, and it's a lot. And my thumbs kind of got raw trying to like put all the little
Oh,
pieces together.
no.
But I was like, oh, it's a big box. How hard can it be? And yeah, I definitely wish I had gotten help with that. Um, and to be completely honest with you, my mattress is still on the floor. I've got a box spring, so the mattress is on the box spring, which is on the floor, but I haven't gotten the bed frame into the house yet. So
We'll get
it's
there
still a work in
eventually.
progress, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Mhm. As long as the mattress is there, that's the important part, that you can
Yes, that's
still
the
have a
important
good
part.
night's sleep. Does it look the prettiest? Not necessarily, but who cares?
Hmm.
As long as you have that place to sleep.
Yes, yes, yes. The bed frame is currently in the garage, waiting to be brought up, but I have not gotten to the bed frame yet. Like I said, I'm still working on that closet, so
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
But one thing you have unpacked is your pin collection. When we were chatting the other
Oh.
day, I, usually ask my guests, do you collect anything? It's just sort of a generalistic thing because sometimes you'll stumble on something, and boy, did I. Because pins, while they aren't necessarily the rarest thing to collect, pin collections are very obviously a thing. You have a rather extensive collection, and you sent me a picture, and I quickly realized there was no practical way to display this in OBS. So what I have done, for those of you watching the stream, I have just blown this thing up to be enormous because that's what it is going to take to actually see
Oh my
and
gosh.
appreciate these pins. So I'm going to have to cover us up as we go, and we're going to explore this because
Yeah.
there is a lot of pins. So
Yes,
many
there are
pins.
a lot of pins.
Have
So
you
many
counted
pins.
the number of pins in your collection?
I have not counted the number of pins in my collection. This is also not all of them. I had not actually gotten to unpacking my pins yet, and we had the pre-show talk, and I was like, I think I know what box those are in. I think I know where I packed them. So I went and I unpacked these ones, and it's most of them. But I've got
Most
a
of
couple
them,
pins-
she
most of
says.
them. I've got a couple of pin binders as well that are not boards. They're like 3-ring binders that have those, the velvet, like foam board backings that you can stick pins into. So I've got some of those, and then also some brand new ones. I found a couple of the brand new ones that you can see on the top of that picture above the boards. But a couple brand new ones that also weren't in the same box. So I think I sent you a second picture that has a couple more that I found.
Yes,
but
yeah.
again, I didn't unpack all of them, but that's the majority of them.
The majority of them, yes. So I guess
Yeah.
let's start from the top right. We got a bunch of Disney ones here, and I know that you do enjoy Disney quite a bit. You mentioned that you actually go to, was it Worldland or both annually?
Both, actually. So I go to Disney World once a year, and that happens in January, actually. I go every year in January. And then Disneyland, I go once or more a year, typically. I think most people from my community already know, but like I'm from Hawaii. Disneyland is closer for us as a family. So I've been going to Disneyland every year, multiple times a year since I was a child. With my family, it's a big family thing for us. And so actually pre-COVID, I used to have a Disneyland annual pass, which I don't have currently, but I used to have one pre-COVID before they did the whole reservation thing and changed some of the rules and made the price higher, yada, 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 yada. But love Disney, have a huge Disney pin collection since you're starting there. My pin collection, I think I can say, is broken into 3 or 3.5 or so categories. I've got a Disney pin collection, And then I've got a video game slash anime pin collection.
I think
And
I
then the
see
half
that
here
in the
kind of comes
middle.
in with Penny Arcade. You can see the PAX pins there.
Yeah.
And then I also just have a collection of pins on the bottom left there that are what I call location pins. And these are just different places that I've traveled to, or icons or events or different things that I've done. And I usually try to see if they have a pin for that event or that venue or that city, state, country, location, or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. Do you remember what the first pin that... Well, I suppose it's sort of a multi-part question. Do you remember the first pin you ever owned, period? And do you remember the pin that you got that sparked the desire to actually have a collection of pins?
I don't think I could tell you the first pin that I ever had. But one of the older ones might be the Disneyland 50-year anniversary one. It's in the very, very bottom right-hand corner. That might be one of my oldest ones. I can't remember if that was like my first one or if I had
do
one
see
before
right there
that.
in the bottom right.
Yep,
there
right
it
there
is.
in the
Yep.
very bottom right
Little
corner.
50 there.
Yeah, but I see there's some above it that are like 2016 pins, and I don't remember if that's before or after the 50th anniversary. Brain's a little fried right now.
Can't imagine why.
I know, just working all day and then eating food. I don't know, I just ate some Costco pizza. Costco pizza's pretty good, right?
You went with the Costco pizza and not the hot dog. Bold choice.
I did, yeah. I went with Costco pizza, and I'm actually trying out their like strawberry banana smoothie for the first time.
Ooh,
I've been a little bit under the weather recently, and some fresh fruit sounded wonderful. It's actually pretty good. It's a little bit on the sweet side, kind of banana forward, which I think makes it a
banana's
little
always
bit
just a
sweeter.
strong flavor.
Yeah, I like banana, but like it's a strawberry banana smoothie, and I feel like the banana is overpowering the strawberry a little bit, so you don't get that tart from the strawberry. So it's just a smidge sweet, but it's pretty good. It's still pretty good. Yeah. But I think that probably something there in the bottom were one of my first ones. I started actually collecting pins because of my family trips to Disneyland. We would get the typical things like, we get apparel, clothes. I think that when I was younger, I used to get more of the stuffed animals and things like that, and keychains. But like, sometimes keychains break, they fall off your bag. I'm Asian. I hate to play into the stereotype, but my parents are Asian, and they were like, why do you want to collect something that you might lose or break? So they were like, why don't you collect pins? And that was kind of their thing, because pins are really easy to display. They don't take up a lot of space. They're less likely to fall off your bag, especially if you get the locking backs. And so that's kind of what me and my siblings got into. So Disney pin collection was definitely first. And then as I got older and started experiencing more things, I decided to start the travel collection and then also collecting the anime and video game pins.
Yeah. And for the travel collection, I see a good variety here that I see. There's Texas, there's several from Seattle, which I suppose isn't too surprising. Just it's going to be on the Pacific coast over on the west, so definitely closer to Hawaii because I think that's a Space Needle. You actually have two. I think that's the Seattle Kraken logo, if memory serves.
Yeah, there's a Seattle Kraken on there. There should be a couple of Seattle Mariners. There's the Seattle Thunderbirds, the Seattle Seahawks. I think there's one on there that's the 40th anniversary of the Mariners.
Oh, I do see a 40 there, yeah.
Yep, we've got the Space Needle up there, Mount Rainier National Park. I think right next to that, I have like a Capilano suspension bridge from Canada.
I see a fleur-de-lis, which is probably going to be New Orleans.
New Orleans, yep. There's a Sydney pin in there. There's
Chicago
the
Cubs.
City of Roses. Yep, Chicago Cubs, City of Roses, which is Oregon, Portland, I think. Also, there's the Jazz Museum. That's also from New Orleans. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, Ohio.
And I think that's a Cleveland Cavaliers logo. I don't actually watch much sports, but I know their logos for whatever reason.
Yeah, lots of fun things on there. There's a couple of like cherry blossom ones on there that are from the Washington, D.C. Cherry Blossom Festival. That happens over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple more Cleveland pins in there. Down on the
See.
bottom, I've got some Universal Studios. Again, the Chicago Cubs are down there. Michigan, there's a Michigan one. We got some from Japan, Arizona, LA. Lots of fun places. Hawaii is on there.
Of course, of course.
I went to the Rolling Stones Museum. That was pretty cool.
That's in
I got to see
Atlanta.
Peter Pan. Rolling Stones Museum.
Oh no, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
remember.
That's in Atlanta, I think.
I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was in Cleveland.
Is it Cleveland? Oh no,
Cleveland.
wait, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm mixing that up.
Yeah, but just like different places that I've been to. I think I got one from like Jurassic World when I went. I saw Peter Pan on Broadway, which was pretty cool. I went to Universal Studios in Japan, and I got the Jurassic Park one in Japanese there. It's like underneath the red R. Um,
I see Defy Gravity, and I think I see an Elphaba Galinda one at the bottom. I'm guessing those are also New York.
yeah, Broadway. Mm-hmm. So fun fact about Wicked, I actually saw Wicked two separate times on Broadway. Once was here in the States, and then the other time I saw it I was actually in London, and that was the first time that I saw it.
Ooh.
It's really cool.
I saw
Really cool
Wicked.
experience.
I saw Wicked way back in the day. It was not original cast, but it was, oh gosh, was that? I think that was like 2006, good lord. Oh. But I very much enjoyed that musical. I thought that the film adaptation was amazing, and if memory serves,
Mhm.
part 2 actually comes out this month.
Yes, part 2 comes out later this month. I actually already bought my ticket to go see it. I'm seeing it next week, actually, on the 20th.
Ooh, nice.
I really appreciated that they kept the movie adaptation pretty close to the original score as well, and like low timing, and the fact that they decided to end the first movie right after Defying Gravity, because that's exactly where the
Yeah, it's Act
intermission
1.
is during the Broadway. Yeah, that's Act 1, that's it.
Mhm.
So I'm really, really excited to see what they do for Act 2. I was debating whether or not to do the double feature, and I decided to just go with part 2 because I already own the first movie on some streaming service or something that I bought the rights to watch.
Yeah. 'Cause I wasn't sure
Yeah.
how they were going to do it with 2 parts because they had no clear, obvious solution. That the Broadway show is 2.5, borderline 3 hours. It's a pretty long musical. It's definitely longer in terms of Broadway shows. And
Absolutely.
could you cram all of that into a single movie? Probably, but you'd probably be at risk of having to cut things. So I feel like the
Yes.
option they were given was, do you make it 1 part and cut some content, or make it 2 parts and extend things? And I suppose also from the monetary standpoint, well, if you can do the 2-part and get twice at the box office, why wouldn't you? But there's still double production costs. But I think they made the right choice, because being able to actually let all of it breathe is good. But also, I was very impressed at how little it didn't feel like they added much somehow.
Agreed.
That
Yes.
it wasn't like there was a ton of new subplots. It wasn't that they added in entire scenes. It felt like they added maybe 2 minutes worth, a couple of lines here and there, a couple of extra character interactions to each pre-existing scene, and it
Yes.
preserved the pace. That
Yes.
it meant that it was longer, yes, but that the time spent on each plot beat as a whole in relativity was about the same.
Yes, I definitely agree with everything that you just said. Yes. Yes. I agree. I remember watching a director's interview after part 1 came out, and he basically said the same thing that you just said, which was we were given 2 options. We could really condense the movie down, or the musical down, into 1 film, have it be a longer film. But then he was like, I felt like we were losing some of the character interactions and the character development that otherwise would have taken place. So we opted to go with the 2 movies. So I thought that was really neat. And I really liked the way that they decided to present it. And also literally just the fact that they cut it directly after Defying Gravity, because I was like, that is so perfect.
Like, one of the only criticisms I have of the film
Mhm.
And by the way, folks, full spoiler warning, basically, I think, on this.
Spoilers.
Sorry, the musical is 20 odd years old, and the book's been out longer, so
Mhm.
I feel like statute of limitations there is a bit past. I wish they had cut to black with Elphaba in midair after Bring Me Down, just like straight cut to black, it not swoop down and then have her going across the field with the extra
Oh, yeah,
added.
yeah, with the extra and then
the-
yeah.
Yeah. But that's such a nitpick. That is such a nitpick that I think it would have been a bit more epic to have just the dark background, the flowing robe background cut to black, then flying off into the distance. But if that's the worst that I have to say about the film, it's a very good film.
Yes, yes. I think they did a very good job. I agree with you. I was like, oh, why is she flying across the field? But I guess they had to show her leaving somehow.
Yeah.
I also like I had mixed feelings. Like I understand why they put it in, but on the same other hand, I was like, it kind of like added a weird like hitch into Defying Gravity, which is otherwise a really iconic song, where she's quote unquote learning how to fly when she sees her younger self in the reflection as she's falling off the building.
Yeah.
But again, if that's the only thing I'm nitpicking, then like it's really well done.
Yeah.
For what it was, yeah.
Trying to think. One thing I really did like, and one thing
Mm-hmm.
that I felt the film added to the experience that can't be done on Broadway is subtle facial expressions. Anytime you're
Yeah.
on a stage, you have to over-emote because there's no way that a small facial expression is going to read to the front row, much less the back of house. So everything has to
Totally.
be very, very deliberate and clear. That's just a reality of live theater, and it is what it is. But in No One Mourns the Wicked, Ariana Grande was able to do just these micro expressions, these tiny little things showing the inner conflict that if you have seen the musical, read the book, know the story going in, what you were getting into, to look for, that otherwise just can't be portrayed on stage. Just
Agreed.
the subtle discomfort that she had was so good and so haunting.
I think she did a really good job throughout the entire movie, but especially in just that opening scene with No One Mourns the Wicked. I agree. I also think that they did a really good job with the choreography too. And
yeah.
I thought I heard at some point in an interview that they said that all of the singing was done live. Did you hear
Yes.
that too?
Yeah, they recorded everything live, and just from a production standpoint, that's kind of mind-boggling of what it takes to have the microphones to be able to capture harmony from a very wide space. This was out in the open that you can see production shots of No One Mourns the Wicked. That was not a studio set. It was out in the flippin' open. And that means you can't treat your acoustics, and that sound's just going to escape. And they had to capture it somehow, and by gosh, they did it.
By gosh, they did it really well, honestly. I also remember seeing, I think it was in that same director's cut interview video that I had watched, but they recorded part of the Dancing Through Life song, the part in the library, on an iPhone, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently they did part of it on an iPhone because it was easier for the camera person to hold that. Well, it was the you know the scene with the circle like of books that like rotates.
Yeah, the rotating bookshelves were a very cool set piece.
Yes, apparently they did that portion when you see like just the rotating bookshelves in there and the three guys that are like jumping back and forth through the circles and kind of doing like the monkey bars, and the one guy that does like the front flip and goes through Fiero's legs. Apparently they did that part on the iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if that's not an ad for Apple, I don't know what is.
I thought that was really neat. I was like, wow. And they said, like, this guy can only do this front flip thing, like, 3 times. So if you don't get it in 3 shots, we have to scrap this whole thing and try it, like, next week.
Oh, wow. Just the safety required and the energy required of,
Yeah,
okay, I
the
know
safety,
I have the energy and strength to do this, but that flip is so bodily taxing that I can't do it safely more than 3 times in a day or however long, sort of similar to how MLB pitchers can only pitch so many times in a day because it's just taxing on the body.
Yeah, because I think it's like he does like a couple flips and then it has to be so well controlled because then he has to like tense up his body and like go between the actor's legs, you know? Like he has to like aim it right in there, and I think like 3 was his limit, like per day or per several days or something, whatever was in their film schedule.
That makes sense, because for something like that, you need to be extremely confident, because if you misjudge, someone's getting injured. Something is going to go wrong, and even if you know, okay, I'm probably physically capable of doing this, but just because of muscle exhaustion, you're not going to have as much control, and that after that, that's when you start having risk. You just can't do it.
Absolutely. Better safe than sorry. Now, I do have to ask, I'm going to flip the talk show here a little bit. I want to ask you a question. Back when you were in school, however long ago that was, or not long ago, were you ever in theater? Because I know a lot of people. I was gonna say, I know that a lot of people who get into this sort of industry have at least dabbled in some sort of a theater background.
The theater to VTuber pipeline is so real.
Yes, I was like, and the fact that you said that you actually saw Wicked way back in 2006, like
it was actually with my high school.
Oh, nice. I was like, there's no way that he went to just go see Wicked if he wasn't at least related to theater somehow.
Yes. I did theater throughout high school, did little bits and pieces in college. I suppose, I'm trying to remember if I've ever mentioned this on stream before. Have I mentioned this on stream before? I didn't do conventional theater in college. I couldn't find an opportunity for conventional theater in college because I was not a theater major.
Sure.
And all of the school's, main stage shows, so to speak, that were for the theater students were obviously populated by theater majors. And essentially all of the student-run theater groups, all of the parts went to all of the theater majors that didn't get into the main stage productions.
I mean, that makes sense.
And through a couple of my friends and circumstance and just how my schedule fell out, I found my theatrical outlet in college in a Rocky Horror Shadowcast.
Oh, that's neat. I've never heard that before.
It's absolutely theater. It's a different kind of theater, but it sure is theater, and that's how I sort of engaged with theater throughout college.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I had one chance to do like a small community theater thing a few years after college, but it was only for one show because it was very, very far from where I live. And I was doing an hour drive after work and then an hour drive after rehearsal back to my apartment for what was basically a 2 to 2.5 hour rehearsal. And I enjoyed it.
That's a lot of time commitment.
But it was too much. It was too much.
Yeah. There comes a point when it's too much. I mean, I would assume that a lot of folks that are watching this show are probably in their college or past years, but if you're still on the younger end, assuming that this is a family-friendly show, then I would absolutely recommend you to, I mean, I guess maybe this goes for older people too, but especially when you're younger, try the things that you want to try, because like, when you get older, you don't realize how time-consuming mundane tasks can be that you take for granted when you're younger. Like I was I'm very thankful. I am very thankful to my parents for pushing me to try a bunch of things when I was younger. Like my extracurriculars were always just like so packed, and I was always so busy because I did something different every trimester, every semester, just to like do different things. So theater was one of the things that I was in. I was in both theater and musical theater. I think that sometimes people don't realize those two things are different if they're not familiar with the space. But it's a lot of fun. So I did like the on-stage thing for theater and musical theater, but I did also just find myself really loving music, and I really love like compositions and just listening back to like musical scores. So like I'll just listen to like the soundtrack of like Wicked or of like Aladdin or of just like non-vocal soundtracks. Like I'll listen to movie soundtracks, and that was something that I always really liked too. So I actually poured a lot of my time and energy into band as well, was one of the curriculars that I was in. And I did not only the concert band series, I also participated in wind ensemble, which is the like band instruments and the orchestra instruments together, like a whole ensemble versus like just band. Yeah, full symphony versus just band or just orchestra. So I participated in the wind ensemble. I also did jazz band, and I did marching band and pit band, which is the live band that sits under the stage in the theater and plays the music for the musicals. So that was really fun too, getting to be like on the stage and also under the stage. It was really neat.
That's so funny that we did not actually discuss theater at all during the pre-interview when we spoke. That this is just us stumbling to the fact that we more or less lived the same lives in high school, because I too was that kid who was in both theater and band.
Aha! Let's go!
I did concert band, I did marching band. The only thing I didn't do that you did, I didn't do pit because I was always on stage, not under it. But that I did jazz band as well, and did marching throughout high school and college. And band is a very, very big part of my life. And I also am a sucker for soundtracks, movies, but video game soundtracks. Video game soundtracks are huge.
Video game soundtracks
very,
are
very
huge. Yes. Do I? Can I ask you, what instruments did you play? Instruments or instruments? Plural? Question mark?
I will say it was a singular instrument, and I actually want to play a bit of a game. I want us to guess each other's instrument.
Okay. Did you play? Okay, wait. Can I narrow it down? Brass or woodwind?
It was brass.
Okay. Did you play French horn?
No, but a good guess.
Oh! Good guess. You play trumpet?
No, it was trombone.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guess mine.
My first instinct... Well, also I need to ask, did you play one instrument or multiple?
Multiple.
Okay, there's the trick there. And the specificity, since you said there was band and then you specified full orchestra ensemble, I forget the term because I know sometimes the exact phrasing can vary by school, but that suggests to me that you were probably playing a wind instrument as at least one of them. Were they all wind instruments, or was there at least one string instrument in there?
All wind instruments.
All wind, okay. I'm going to guess that one was flute.
Oh, no.
Ooh, okay. I'm kind of glad that I'm wrong on that. I don't know why. Just like, for some reason, I don't know why, but there's something sort of stylistically that if you're a band kid, you sort of notice, I don't even want to say stereotypes, but just sort of trends
you notice
of how
different
things
nuances.
go.
Yeah.
And that certain little bits about you said flute to me, but in the back of my mind, it was like, that feels wrong. I feel like I'm leaning on like some mental stereotype, and I kind of want to be wrong, so I'm glad I was, actually.
Yeah.
Bass
I'll
clarinet.
narrow it down for you since you narrowed it down for me. I played brass instruments.
Okay, it was brass? All right. Well, now I'm actually going to guess that you potentially projected. Was it French horn?
No.
Oh, dang. Brass, because there's not actually that many brass instruments left. So I'm going to then... Not likely to be euphonium because you played in jazz band. And while there can be jazz youth, that's a very rare thing. So it has to really be between trumpet and trombone. Well, wait, you said multiple. So was it both trumpet and trombone?
Oh, okay, you're half right. It was euphonium and trombone.
That makes sense because the euphonium would be the other one. So, wow, what the heck? We played the same instrument.
I know, what the heck? More in
Just-
common than we thought.
And I was leaning away from trombone because I figured that if it was trombone, you would have had perhaps a slightly bigger reaction when I said trombone. But I feel like
I was trying to play it cool.
You did play it cool. You tricked me. You got me.
Yeah, euphonium was my primary. I played euphonium in the concert band, the wind ensemble, the symphony, and then also in marching band. And then I played
But I was right
the
of you that
trombone.
I was like euphonium. She mentioned jazz band, so it couldn't have
Yes.
been you there. But then I
You were
discounted
on
the
the
fact
right
that it was still the
track.
multiple.
Yes, you were on the right track. I did play trombone in jazz band and also in pit band.
Mhm.
So that was really fun. I also, after high school and when I went into college, I also ventured into trombonium, which is pretty interesting. It's a merge of the euphonium and the trombone together, so it produces
It has the
same
valves.
tone as the trombone, but with valves
Yes,
instead
I've
of
seen
the
those.
slide. Yes,
Also,
yes,
Captain
yes.
Dukra in chat asks, what the heck is a euphonium? First off, you did spell it right. Good
Yes,
job.
you did spell it right. That's amazing.
Mhm. Sometimes called a baritone. So I'm going to first sort of say, do you know what a baritone is? Because if you know what that is,
Well,
technically they're
sometimes called a
different.
baritone. Technically, they're
They're
different.
technically different, but as far as the layman's concerned, they're the same. All right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That there are some subtle differences in the euphonium versus the baritone, but it is effectively the same concept and shape for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very similar, technically different, but again, like Jay said, in layman's terms, they can be the same thing. Sure.
Yeah. But at the same
Yes.
time, as soon as I was starting to say it's the same, I was like, oh, but Amai's absolutely not going to take that. Because euphonium players are adamant that they are different, as they should be.
They are different instruments. They are different instruments. They're very similar, but they're different. They're different. Did you ever, I know, again, this was not on our pre-show discussion.
No, like I
but did
said,
you ever,
the stuff that happens live is sometimes the best stuff. This is why I let things stumble wherever they will.
Did you ever get to do anything fun while you were in band? Like, did you get to travel? Did you do any notable, like, shows or concerts or anything of that nature?
My high school actually, funny enough, bring this all full circle, did a Disney trip every 2 years.
What? I'm so jealous. What?
We got to march in the Magic Kingdom Main Street Parade.
Oh, that's so cool. I might have seen you at some point. Unbeknownst to me, because I've seen that parade multiple times.
Yeah, well, it happens every day. And
Yeah.
that they usually have during the school year, they bring in bands. It wasn't the most exclusive thing. You do have to audition, that we had to
Yes.
record and send in and everything. But we got to do that, and then we also got to go into a studio and record over some Fantasia scenes, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that is really neat, actually. Dang, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Like, this is gonna sound silly, but when I was younger and I was, like, really, really into band and at, like, the peak of my euphonium playing and trombone playing part of life, I was like, I really want to be in, like, the Disneyland band one day. Like, you know, they've got those cool, like, blue and white
yeah, their
like,
main
uniforms, and they come out and they're
daily performing
amazing.
band, yeah.
Yes. But that's really neat that you got to do that. That's such a cool experience. I did not get to do that, unfortunately, but kind of, again, to bring it back full circle to something we were talking about earlier, I mentioned that the first time that I saw Wicked, it was actually in London, and that was actually on a school trip that I did for band, because our wind ensemble, like, top performers concert series of the school was actually invited to go play at the Queen's Diamond Jubilee concert.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. So we were there for that. And while we were there, the school was like, you know, we're all the way on this side of the world. Why don't we do some other fun things for the students? And so we actually got to go see Wicked on Broadway as well while we were there.
That's so cool. Oh,
Yeah.
I've not actually been to the UK. I've not actually been to Europe. That I've been so many places across the US. Been really, really fortunate to be to, at this point, I would say most of the major metropolitan hubs across the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to go to Japan for the first time last year, but I've never actually gotten to Europe. I really, really want to, but that sounds so fun. Not only getting to obviously go to London on a school trip, but for something as special as the Diamond Jubilee. My college, I did get something, it's similar but different, getting to perform in a state affair, as it were. My college performed in as I try and remember, it was the 2012 inauguration parade.
Oh my God, no way.
Yes, so that was...
I was there too.
What?
In the same parade. For band.
This is a very small world moment.
Oh my gosh. The exact same parade, same year, 2012. Oh my gosh.
I'm like triple... Yeah, it was definitely the 2012 one, yeah. What the heck?
Same place, same time.
That's so
oh my gosh.
funny. That's
Also,
so funny.
cool.
Also, that's about as specific as we can get because there were not many college bands that performed in that parade. I think there was like 3.
Shh.
At least the bands were big. The bands were very big.
The bands were really big. Yeah.
So that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
That's so funny. Like, literally such a small world moment. Theater, musical theater, band, it's all coming full circle.
And trombone at that.
And trombone at that.
Yeah, so...
And Pokemon.
And Pokemon. Like, we haven't even gotten to that yet.
Yeah, and Disney.
And Disney. So, wrapping back to Disney, you mentioned you like listening to a lot of soundtracks. Do you have a favorite Disney soundtrack? And I'm asking specifically the soundtrack, not the movie at large.
Ooh. Are we going like new Disney or Disney classic? Because I feel like there can be a distinction made
different
there.
eras,
They're
I
like
suppose.
Different eras, yeah.
Okay,
different eras and different styles of
I
music.
won't be cruel and say you have to choose from all of them. I will give you one of each what you consider new and old Disney because I do. Because there is a very distinct stylistic difference of something like Moana versus something like Cinderella.
Styles, but like yes, but in the music itself as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so classic Disney, I'd say my favorite soundtrack might actually be Hercules. I think that they do a lot of fun things with the songs themselves that you like. Everybody loves the Hercules music, but like things that you notice as somebody who has been in music or educated in music, where especially in Go the Distance, I thought this was really cool. Like the whole song like builds up, is constantly building up. So it's about him like literally climbing a mountain to find out where he belongs and find out who he is. And if you listen to the song, it starts at a low point and like throughout the verses, it's constantly building up until you get to that key change. And then he's like, I'm here. I've made it to the summit. I know who I am. I know what I have to do. And I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. Hercules was actually the first film I ever saw in theaters.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, dating myself, that was when I was 5 years old.
Wow. It's a phenomenal movie. I love the soundtrack too. A lot of those Disney, not all of, but a lot of Disney soundtracks are really good. There's also some really good standout solo songs. Like, I think that Reflection from Mulan is really good. There've been a lot of different like remixes or different renditions or covers of that song.
Yeah.
But that's a really good just like standout song by itself. Another classic would just be A Whole New World. That's a really, really big classic one. If you've ever tuned in or tuned into a future one of my karaoke streams, I'd sing a lot of Disney music too, because that's something that's always been near and dear to my heart. If we're going new Disney, I really like
Sort of tough because modern Disney movies still have songs, but I don't feel like modern Disney movies are full musicals as they used to be. It used to be that most Disney movies, you were spending a good half of your screen time with songs. You had full Broadway style and length set lists where it's gonna
Agree.
15 songs. Nowadays, they have fewer songs, and to their credit, the songs that they still have are good. That they've gone with I don't even want to say quality over quantity, because I felt that in classics they had quality and quantity, but
Yes.
at the very least,
It's definitely
they
a
haven't
style
let the
shift.
quality wane with the reduced quantity.
Agree. I think there is definitely a style shift. I think a lot of the newer movies also cater to younger audiences, whereas like the older quote unquote Disney classics like catered to audiences of all ages. And to your point, I think that the classic movies had more of a score, if that makes sense. Like they had
Yeah.
music throughout, whereas like a lot of the newer movies do have a lot of just like conversational scenes, talking amongst the characters, storytelling in that regard, and not so much into the sing-song, sing-along storytelling
Yeah.
that the older films had. So definitely different in style. But I think that if I was going to pick one, I think that probably I would go with. Oh, I'm so hesitant to say it. I don't want people to shoot me. Either Moana or Frozen. I'm very hesitant to say Frozen because I really love Idina Menzel and I love what she did with Elsa, but I do also feel like Frozen music gets overplayed like
That's the
so
problem of
much that people get
the
upset
ultimate punishment
about it.
of being too good. Your stuff becomes overplayed and it becomes tired,
Yes.
because I find myself in the
Yes.
same position. But I also think that makes sense for the two of us, because
Mm-hmm.
Moana and Frozen are arguably the two modern Disney films that are closest to classic Disney in terms of having a larger set list and being more proper musicals. Is if you
Yes.
think about a lot of, like I said, more modern Disney ones, that they are movies with a song or two, and usually it's
Yeah.
just that which one am I blanking on the name of? No, wait, that was a Pixar one. But you get the
It's
point
okay.
of
It's
just
okay. I get the point.
there's not as many songs. So for folks like us who really enjoy that full musical experience, naturally we're going to tend
Mm-hmm.
toward the ones that get closest to that. And yeah, that's going to be Frozen. And obviously, Idina Menzel, brand name aside, or perhaps it should be said, she's earned her brand name. She's just really,
Really
really
has.
good.
She's really, really good. I also love that she made a cameo in the Wicked Part 1 movie.
I loved it. Literally the
I loved that.
only
I didn't even know
full
she was gonna
edition.
be in there.
I didn't either, and I saw it and was just, oh, I see what they're doing. That's cute, and just
And Kristen Chenoweth too.
and it was the
Yeah.
perfect place to do it, because their introduction there, their interaction there, changes nothing about the story. It is
Exactly.
plot irrelevant. It is just a little extra verse put into a song that already existed. They didn't bother saying, oh, we're gonna have a big scene where they're gonna meet these folks and like have a whole big moment and write a whole new song for it. They put in one verse that fit, that was that really good wink wink nudge nudge. If you understand
Yeah, if you
who
know,
this
you
is
know.
and what this is, this
Yep.
verse makes even more sense. And if you're seeing Wicked for the first time and you see that little interaction and you don't clock it, you don't clock anything at all. Nothing feels off.
Yeah, nothing feels off. It was very, very naturally put in there. And when I saw them, I went like a
Yeah,
little
it's just-
gasp in my movie theater seat. So I thought that was really well done. But yes, she has definitely earned her name. She's earned her branding. She's amazing. I think she did really well with Elsa. I also liked her songs in Frozen 2 as well, but I thought that Frozen 2 as a movie as a whole was a little bit more childish in a way. And some of the songs, like they were still good, but they were like definitely more like for the children.
Frozen 1 absolutely
yeah.
stands out above 2 for me. That
It
I don't
does,
think
yeah.
it was a bad sequel. I think it just sort of falls back to Frozen 1 was, I don't want to say a generational film, but it was a distinctly above average film. It was a
Yes.
very, very good one. And
Yes, it was
it is
very,
just
very
tough
well done.
to top something like that.
Yeah, I really liked Into the Unknown from the second movie though.
Yeah,
That
it was
like, a
clear they
really
were
good
trying
song.
to redo. Why am I blanking on the name of the big song from 1? Poof, just went right out of my head.
Uh,
I'm kicking myself right now. after saying, oh, I love Frozen, it's so good. I'm just having a total brain blank on the actual Oscar Emmy award-winning song. Good Lord, because like I could sing the song for you now. Let it go. Good Lord. It's like I can sing the song for you right now, but I can't think of just what is the dang title. Yes, Let It Go. That Into the Unknown was so clearly meant to be Let It Go 2.0. They were fishing for the awards with that one. They were trying to get that viral everywhere reaction again, because stylistically, instrumentally, you can hear it's designed as basically a clone. And that
and you can hear that it was also like really designed for her voice too, and her vocal range. Yeah.
And that I feel like they used it too early in the film. I loved that Let It Go was basically their defying gravity. It was at sort of the midpoint of the film.
Yeah.
And then they use Into the Unknown in the first
at the very
20
beginning?
minutes of 2, and I feel like, and I hear the song, it's like, okay, I can very clearly hear you're positioning this to be your Let It Go. And I feel like you fired your best shot too early, because then everything else just naturally isn't going to stand up, because, it's just going to be downhill from there. And the other songs were plenty good. They were perfectly serviceable, nothing wrong, but you gotta be selective of when you have your big showstopper numbers, and I don't think that the opener is where the showstopper should be.
Yeah. Did you listen to the Into the Unknown cover by Panic at the Disco?
I did not.
You should listen to it sometime. I actually think that he did a really good job with it. Add to the list for later.
Yes.
Yes. But, and then I guess going back to my other choice, which would have been Moana for favorite movie soundtrack of newer Disney movies. Back again, full circle to what we were talking about earlier with Broadway and theater. That whole score was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And he does phenomenal work. Yeah. So
for those who aren't in the theater space and do not know the name Lin-Manuel Miranda, he is the guy that wrote and starred in Hamilton.
Yes.
And also In the Heights, which is not as well known as Hamilton, because Hamilton, I will call a generational show.
Yeah, Hamilton was like a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah. And again, very well earned, perhaps to the point of being overplayed, but so it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes. If something's good, people are going to play it. Kind of like K-pop Demon Hunters right now.
Yep. The complete just explosion of K-pop Demon Hunters is so fascinating to me, because it's something that I don't think anyone saw coming, including the creators of K-pop Demon Hunters. That I think they expected it. Nobody releases a film thinking it's going to do poorly. No studio, no streaming service signs a film thinking it's going to do poorly. They expect a return on their investment. That's just the business of Hollywood.
That's the nature of the business, yep.
But at the same time, it's a new IP, which is the toughest thing right now, hence why you see so many sequels, because those are the monetarily reliable ones, for better or worse. That's just how society is. And that, I had heard about it before it came out. I knew that it was happening. I think I saw a post about a trailer at some point.
But then I'm in that same boat.
The day it comes out, I remember just seeing a bunch of posts from folks that I know that are into K-pop saying, oh my gosh, this movie gets it. This movie understands the assignment. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm so happy for those K-pop fans that, K-pop's been having a big boom in the West lately. And for something like that, I could see how it could be fumbled really badly and just not represent the style or the culture well. And, those first couple days after release, I was like, oh man, I'm so happy that fandom got something good. I'm happy that they're happy. And then it just kept going.
And then you just kept seeing it. Yeah.
And then I saw more. And then I see people who I know distinctly are not into K-pop posting about it. And then I start seeing news articles about numbers it's doing. And I'm, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Golden tops the charts.
Where did this come from?
I'm absolutely in that same boat. I watched it really late, actually. But can I just say that the movie Like the storytelling was really well done, but also the music was just phenomenal. That was like K-pop's always kind of been around, and it's had its couple of booms. Gonna age myself. It's had its couple of booms throughout the years. But I'm really glad that it's making a really big splash here in the West, and that, all of these artists are getting recognized, and people are not just looking at K-pop Demon Hunters now, but they're also looking at K-pop as a genre.
No, this is a cultural inflection point for K-pop in the West. That,
yes,
like you said, obviously K-pop is not new. It has been and is as big as you would expect in Korea and in Japan, and it's been slowly but surely making its way to the West. It's been around that most people had at least heard of BTS in the past 5 years, because they, I would very much argue, helped make the most significant push into the West prior to K-pop Demon Hunters. And I honestly would not be surprised if BTS's success was a major factor in getting K-pop Demon Hunters greenlit.
Ooh, I could see that actually. Yeah.
And now
I
just
could see that.
people understand what K-pop is, because I brought up in conversation with my father a couple months ago, and he did not know what K-pop stood for. Just if you're not in those spaces, you don't necessarily intuitively connect what is the K if you haven't actually seen it to understand, oh, this is K is for Korea.
Yeah, K is for Korea. Korean
Yeah.
pop music. Like J-pop or J-rock.
But it's been really cool to see, and I feel like that is definitely this year's Frozen. Golden is this year's Let It Go. I am expecting and hoping, frankly, that it gets a lot of awards, just because I want to see K-pop and K-pop fans get that solidification and justification. I don't want this to be a flash in the pan for them. I still am not a K-pop fan. But I enjoy the music. Like, if you put it on, I'll listen to it, I'll enjoy it. It's not what I'm going to go out of my way for. But I recognize that it is something that is very distinct and doesn't have, prior to the past couple months, what I would call that critical mass recognition in the West.
Yes.
And for all the other artists that are doing amazing work, amazing, beautiful things, that most other genres are solidified, justified in their existence in the West. And K-pop, I think, they have more to gain by winning and really solidifying that in the award season in the next couple months than all the other genres. So that's just sort of the logistics logic of why I think I'm rooting for K-pop.
Agree. And I think that K-pop Demon Hunters was also such a big hit, and it's a really good introduction for Westerners into K-pop, because all of the songs are like 99% in English too, versus like, a lot of traditional K-pop songs are going to be in Korean because they're K-pop.
Literal language barrier.
Japanese, literal language barrier. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of catchy. Oh yeah. But these are songs all in English, but with the K-pop genre, with the K-pop inflections and the music and the style. Yep, but it's all in English except for I think they put a couple of Korean lines into the songs, but 99% in English. And I don't know why, I just find myself going down these rabbit holes sometimes where I like to watch director's interview or cast interviews of things. But I was watching one on K-pop Demon Hunters, and they were doing an interview with my brain, I'm blanking on the name of the boy group, but they were doing an interview with that boy group.
Saja Boys?
The Saja Boys, but their actual group name. But they were doing an interview with them, and they were saying some of the members actually don't speak any English. So they had, I don't want to call him a translator, they called him something else during the interview, but basically a translator that took the time to Romanize the entire English K-pop song into Korean so that they could so they took the English words and Romanized it into Korean,
so they knew how to pronounce it,
characters, so they would know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
And
that
I
makes
thought that was
sense.
really cool. That's like a huge language barrier, but they overcame it, and I think that's gonna pay dividends for them, like in business and also in like popularity and all that other stuff, and a good introduction for Westerners into K-pop music.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought
That's all I'm
about
saying.
that until you mentioned it, of just BTS, for how big they were, it was still all in Korean. And
Hmm.
you are 100% correct that the lack of language barrier makes K-pop Demon Hunters immensely more accessible and is very
Yes.
likely one of the primary factors of its success, because just
Hmm.
plain and simple that anyone can enjoy good music. It does not matter if you understand the language or not.
Hmm.
But if you can understand what is being said,
Hmm.
naturally, you are just inherently capable of enjoying it even more. That you can enjoy the wordplay, you can enjoy the meaning, you can connect on a much more logical level. That I feel you can
Yes.
connect with music on a emotional level, regardless of if lyrics exist or if lyrics can be understood, just
Hmm.
because of how music is. But
Hmm.
that the logic isn't something that can play into music without language.
Yes. Yes, and I think just again the fact that it's all in English makes it more digestible and easily accessible for the Western audience, and I think that's helping to propel the boom of K-pop and then the popularity of the film into what it is right now. And I think I saw online that they announced K-pop Demon Hunters too.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised.
Fingers crossed
I'd be
that
shocked
that
if they
does
didn't.
not flop.
The thing is printing money.
Yeah.
Say what you want about business and, oh, this, that, the other, corporate greed. If something is popular and successful, they're gonna make more of it, because that's literally what they're being told to do by everybody.
Yeah, literally fingers crossed that doesn't flop. Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. But yeah, no, it's super popular right now. They have like they even have the Huntrix girls printed on the Shin Ramyun and other items too.
From
I just saw it.
from a business
Yeah.
standpoint, I mentioned I didn't major in theater in college. I majored
Hmm.
in business. So
Oh
from
my
a
god, you and
licensing
I are
standpoint,
so alike.
no
What the
way.
heck? No way.
This is getting kind of weird. Like
Well, okay,
now
okay,
I'm
okay. If it makes
like we're just like parallel timelines, because I'm even noticing like I like the only color I have on this model is blue.
Dude, it's the exact same blue. Like your
It
tie and my
is.
sweater.
Yeah,
It's the exact same
it,
blue.
that's
So funny.
but but anyways, just one of the most impressive things for the business nerd in me is how fast licensing deals have gotten done for K-pop Demon Hunters. Because when it was released, nobody had licensing deals for it. It was just,
Mhm.
it's a Sony animation project released on Netflix, so, it's got some support, but nobody's
Yeah.
scrambling to do crossovers with them. Nobody's
Mhm.
trying to get ahead of the ball in terms of merch production for this,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a no-name film, but for
Sure.
something that's not expected to take the world by storm. And in
Right.
the matter of a business quarter, 3-ish months, you have them in Fortnite. You have
Mhm.
so many different crossovers, so many different brands. They're on talk shows everywhere, and just the
Mhm.
people in the business department responsible for licensing got to work fast. And then the people
Yes.
from the licensee side, who got the rights to do these crossovers, did their job real fast of getting things to production, of getting those assets, into Fortnite, getting everything done. I would love to see the timelines of like exact days post-release of
Mhm.
when different inquiries start coming in. That did Fortnite reach out for the license? Was it 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks after release? When did
Mhm.
these different ones, and how fast did the talks start? How fast did the deals get signed? And then how fast did things actually get to market?
Yeah,
But
how
like I
quickly
said,
did they make the models? How quickly did they like do the clothes and the hair and like all that stuff? And then yeah, I'd be really curious to see that too, because with any sort of like collaboration, a business deal, like planning is tantamount and time is of the essence. Time is money. Like that's
Mhm.
really an overrated saying, but it's really true. Time
Yeah.
is money. Like the longer you wait to push out your collab or to push out your product,
And
even if it's not a
especially
collab, like your own product, like you're wasting, like, you're losing money for every
Especially
extra day
for
that you're having to sit
pop
on
culture
it.
stuff like this, that you don't know,
Yeah.
is this thing going to be a flash in the pan? Maybe K-pop Demon Hunters is the big thing for 3-4 weeks, and then it kind of fades into obscurity. Even a month
Mhm.
after release, you don't know. You really don't know at that point, okay, is this just going to be sort of the trend of the month and it's going to taper off really fast in the next 2 weeks, or is it actually going to sustain and become basically the movie music event of the year as it has been? That you can't know. That it's so quick how trends come and go just because there are so many things being made nowadays. I don't even think it is a quote unquote societal attention thing. I think it's just that in this day and age,
Mhm.
we have better distribution for creators than ever before, and that
Yes.
so many amazing things are being made and released at a faster rate than ever because more people have the opportunity to get their artistic visions out into the world and seen by people in ways that rewind the clocks 20 years. If you don't have
Mhm.
a record deal, if you don't have a studio budget, you just don't have the ability to make or get your thing accessible to eyeballs, plain and
Yeah,
simple.
absolutely.
And now people
It
do. And since people are very creative and all these wonderful things, these visions that people have had are able to
Mhm.
get out into the world, that naturally, a I don't, like I said, I don't think it is a attention span, quote unquote, thing. I think it's just we are naturally going from one to the other because there are so many more amazing things out there to see than there were possible to see in the past.
Yeah, I think technology being a blessing and a curse is very true of this day and age. I think more people have more access to more tools and more resources to be able to, like you said, make their creative visions come to life, however big or small those may be. Like, take just the boom of content creation, for example, just in VTubing or in content creation in general. Like, there's so many more content creators doing all different kinds of content. So you got the people that are doing like Costco finds this week, to the people that are like, hey guys, next time on Minecraft, we're going to be doing, and there's just so much media out there to consume that we didn't have. Again, we're just going to date ourselves here, I guess. Back in the day, where, it was like a select handful of like content creators that were really pioneering the way, that had access to the resources and the tools to be able to create these content shows, episodes, streams that we enjoyed. I remember, like, it was like Jacksepticeye, probably like Markiplier. Like, do you remember? I want to say like the Try Guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
like
just
like it was like you could name them. There were like maybe 10 that were like really
mhm.
big names, and now like the content creation sphere is so saturated. And I think that goes for like mass media as well. In like Sony's pumping out a bunch of things, and Disney's pumping out a bunch of
Yeah,
things, and like all of these different,
the
like
advent of
Amazon
streaming.
Prime Video is like
Streaming
doing its own
changed
thing now.
things fundamentally
Yes.
because back in the day, rewind, like I said, even 15, 20 years before streaming really hits critical mass,
Mm-hmm.
you are numerically limited to wide content distribution of number of
Mm-hmm.
channels times hours per day. Assume that
Yep.
1/3 of those hours of the day are basically useless. 8 hours, get
You're
from
sleeping.
10 p.m. to basically 8 a.m. There's a reason that they always ran those infomercials and other things there because nothing else was going to want to be on the air. So now you're
Mm-hmm.
working with, all right, it's going to be, 16 hours a day to work with times number of channels. And let's assume, even if you're never running the same thing twice, you never have reruns, which obviously is not the case.
Right.
The number of things that you see on even a single streaming platform nowadays is going
Mm-hmm.
to exceed what you have the capability to air in a year on like
Yes.
all of the channels of even most modern cable combined. That, and even when we got into the days of multi-hundred channel cable packages, that
Mm-hmm.
most of those channels weren't running full unique produced content all those
Yeah.
hours a day. It was like, all right, this is the movie channel where we're just running movies or music videos, and that
Yep.
we have one of those for each subgenre, and that's how you kind of stack and bloat and get to say, oh, our cable package has hundreds of channels. It's not actually that many real channels. But now with streaming and that you're not bound by linear broadcast standards and timing, that folks can just release, all right, however many films or series, and that you're not limited to, ad breaks. And okay, it has to fit some block of 30 minutes or 15 minutes because of how ad breaks work. It can just be, all right, does this episode go for 44 minutes or does it go for 37? It no longer matters. They're able to do that. And again, it's just more opportunity for more stuff out there. And we as humans only have so many hours a day ourselves. So naturally, we're going to try and see as much cool stuff as we can and jump from one to the other.
Yes. Everything, yes, to just exactly what you just said. Like, and again, rewind maybe a little bit further back than 15 years, but I don't know why, but the movie Bohemian Rhapsody is like coming to my head, and I'm just thinking about, like, I know that was like based on a true story, and I remember listening to a lot of Queen back in the day. Even sometimes now, I think they're on my like classic road trip playlist that I listen to when I'm going on long drives. But Queen back in the day, they like didn't have anybody that believed in them at first, and they spent literally all of their savings to record a demo track in a studio, because that's what they had to do in order to get noticed.
And there's a lot of bands that really did that, spent their savings to record a demo track to get noticed and didn't get picked up. And that's just the end of the road.
And that's just the end of the road. Like, it's a real, like, at least back then, it was a real make or break kind of deal, fork in the road deal breaker. I didn't want to say make or break deal breaker, but you get the point.
But nowadays, for not your entire life savings, it's not going to be free, but not your entire life savings, you can spend $100, $150 on a very solid microphone.
Yep.
You can download Audacity for free. You can do whatever types of filters, find stuff online for free, and record your own demo track at extremely little cost. Post it on YouTube. Yep. No studio recording. You can, if you have multiple band members, they can each do it from the comfort of their own home, or you can set something up in a garage, wherever, if you want, and then post it on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
And now not only have you produced your demo track, but you can also just have your full releases of, think of every content creator who does a song cover or original piece, that you don't need to worry about a studio label, because the only way to get music out there is via vinyl or CD printing, and the minimum order quantity is going to be 10,000, and there's a production time of 6 months, and then distribution and getting into stores, and then this, that, the other. No, you just post it, and it's out there. And, well, it might go viral, it might not, but if it doesn't, you haven't suddenly sunk tens of thousands of dollars into it. You're not destroying your life savings, and you can try again. Yeah. It's not the end of the road.
You can try again. Exactly. And exactly to your point, like, all of my vocal recordings, whether I've done them for voice packs or I do actually have a song cover over on YouTube, we're just done with Audacity, and that's free. Fairly easy to use too, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty user-friendly.
And obviously there are different ones you have for if you want to invest in the fancier types of things, that even then, if you want to go with the expensive microphone and the paid subscription audio mixing service and everything, that's probably still only going to run you maybe $1,000, maybe two if you're really pushing it. It's not going to be the $5,000-$10,000 your life savings on this one shot, and now you own this tech and can just use it for all those other future shots if you want.
Yep. Like, times have changed. Things are way more accessible now, which I think is good. But again, technology just being a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Not just in the content creation sphere, but just in everyday life, too. Like, people just being so reliant on technology nowadays that we just forget how to do other things. Like, I thought it was... I mean, I understand the logic, okay? Just go with me on this train. I understand the logic. But I think it's kind of a shame that they discontinued teaching cursive in schools. And I was, like, literally asking my chat the other day. I was like, wait, so, like, if they stop teaching cursive in schools, like, how is this new generation of people going to sign their names when they get to the point where they have to sign legal documents?
Yeah, and I'm sort of torn on it that I feel
I'm
like
torn on it.
I think it is silly to say, oh, for a legal document to be binding, you must do it in this swoopy signing
In
and that
this
you can't
swoopy
just
signing
use
way.
your normal
Like, you can't
handwriting
just,
to
like,
sign.
handwrite your
I don't
name.
think that having it be in a single long pen stroke makes a signature any more or less legitimate.
True.
So
I know in, like, Eastern cultures, they use stamps, like in Korea, China,
yeah,
Japan, they just have, like,
yeah,
red
you
official
have your family
stamps.
seal.
Yeah, your family seal, but I just think it's, like, just interesting how that's just, like, the way it's always been in, like, Western, like, not just American, but, like, Western, European, like, I don't wanna use the word tradition, but, like, culture, where, like, things have always been, like, swoopy single line, maybe a couple line,
Yeah,
like, swoopy signature, like old calligraphy. I understand why it's getting phased out. I don't know if that's necessarily a tangent we want to go down, but again, that was just something that I thought was interesting because we've become so reliant on technology. All kids know how to use like a smartphone, an iPad, like a keyboard. Everybody's like typing now. There's way less handwriting nowadays, even. Um, so it makes sense that they're phasing it out of the curriculum because it doesn't really serve a true purpose for what
yeah,
today's world is, but it just is we're living through this time where it's going to be kind of a generational shift where it's like something that we grew up with and something that's
yeah.
always been, right, with these long swoopy, sometimes elaborate or innate signatures, and now all of a sudden, like, let's say if you ever have kids, like, your kids probably aren't going to sign their name that way, and it'll be interesting to see like how that develops and
Yeah.
how that's gonna happen. Like, even in the business world nowadays, a lot of people use DocuSign, and not everybody takes the time to grab out a stylus and like actually digitally sign their name. Some people just go like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna type my name in, and then DocuSign is gonna create a signature for me." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like it's different. It's a different age. It's a different era. Technology is coming in even on the non-content creation sphere, even on like our everyday lives in business world and what have you. That's the end of my
Yeah.
soapbox.
I have mixed feelings because I sort of feel like every generation has a generational shift. That if you rewind the clocks a couple of generations, everyone grew up learning how to farm. Everybody knew how to plant crops, harvest crops, and do all that work. And
Mhm.
as agriculture and industrial farming developed, that stopped being taught, and that I do not know the proper way to plant crops beyond a very high conceptual level. My guess is the average person doesn't. There's
Mhm.
various skills that people used to have that were universal in their era that
Yeah.
aren't there now, and that just as technology evolved and this, that, the other are no longer relevant and have been phased
Mhm.
out. So we've seen stuff like this happen before many, many times, and it will happen again. And
Absolutely.
my base instinct is that, at least for cursive, I don't mourn it terribly much. Like, yes, is it a neat little thing? Yes, but for the amount of school hours spent on it, I don't
Yes.
think ultimately it is the societal benefit for other uses of those hours. My big thing
Agree,
is
agree.
I want to see the hours that were spent on cursive used now as optimally as possible. And that's the
Mhm.
real question of, where do those hours go? Do they go
Yeah.
to just the other core subjects of math, science, arts, this, that, the other? Do we start
Mhm.
introducing new things? That I think that just computer usage and literacy should be taking
Yeah.
the time of cursive hours in schools. That I think that kids should be taught how to navigate files on a computer.
Mhm.
I think that kids should be taught, like I said, media literacy. Maybe you blend that in potentially with English and literature comprehension as a whole. Maybe you make it its own
Mhm.
separate thing, but I think that some of those hours can go over there. I don't think that every kid needs to learn how to code, but I think that every kid should probably learn how to use, Microsoft Office or other analogous suites of software, or
Yes.
just different tools. And fine, we have these new other things. Let's teach them, because at least in our
Yeah.
time, those were elective courses. Those were things that,
Yes.
if you were lucky, your elementary school might have had some typing classes. I was fortunate enough to have typing classes
Mhm.
in, I think it was like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And
Yeah, me too.
And I think those were really, really important. I think that typing
Yes.
classes should now be standard.
Agreed. I just to back up, I 100% agree with you. I understand why it's getting phased out. It's not a very functional part of society, like knowing how to write cursive, kind of like knowing how to drive stick shift to an extent, right? Stick
Yeah.
shift cars are being phased
Great
out
analogy.
too. But yeah, like I understand why it's getting phased out. It's just like in my mind, I'm like, how are people going to sign their names? And I know that's such like a small thing, but
Yeah,
like you said, there's different things now that those hours could be better spent on, like the typing classes, which were in some cases offered, some cases not offered, in some cases they were elective. But I think, again, to your point, those should all be mandatory now, since technology is such a big part of our lives.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess it means that it is indeed our turn, aging ourselves, to be those old folks saying, back in my day.
Back in my day. Back in my day, I learned how to type by playing the Type to Learn game.
Yes! That
Yes!
was the only... Type to Learn, I will stand by, was the only actual typing program that was any good. There was so many quote-unquote fun typing games that, had different licensed characters and whatnot, and they were all exploitable. If you figured out how to keyboard smash in the right way or figured out a couple of workarounds, you could beat those games. There was no working around Type to Learn. It just, it was built very deliberately, and you couldn't cheat that system. It was so good.
I don't know why, but the windshield wipers are a very strong memory of mine.
Oh
like the windshield wiper game in Type to Learn, that one specifically. But yeah. I also think that they're not offering home economics and woodworking anymore in school curriculums, and I'm curious as well, like what those hours are going to be reallocated towards.
Those are already both elective for me. That woodworking definitely. I don't even think that was an elective where I grew up.
Oh, really?
Home ec was an elective in middle and high school, but I don't think woodworking actually was. That. Yeah, the only real opportunity for woodworking at my high school, come to think of it, would have been in the theater department.
Interesting. Different curriculums then. Woodworking and home ec, I think, were required for us, but glass blowing was an elective.
I can 100% say that was not an elective option for me.
It's just interesting to see like what different curriculums are offered in different like schools, and I think that universally now across the states that woodworking and home ec are being phased out along with cursive. But again, to your point, just interesting. It'll be interesting to see what gets replaced, what those things are being replaced with, what those hours are going to be used for, and what is going to be part of the, education curriculum moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had glassblowing as an elective. I didn't take glassblowing. I was like, I don't know why. I was like afraid like something was going to explode in my face.
That, honestly, because woodworking already has some liability issues, but I feel like glassblowing is much higher risk.
Yeah. You know how hot that fire is? Oh my gosh.
And that if any of the glass breaks and shatters, that woodworking injury happens when you are pretty actively stupid. And kids obviously can be pretty actively stupid, but I think that freak accidents, and I have no stats to back this up, but I feel like freak accidents are going to be statistically more likely in glassblowing than in woodwork.
Yeah, I was always like interested into how the school decided what should we make as our elective. Give the kids some glass. That sounds great.
This is me not being terribly familiar with Hawaiian culture. Do you think it is something that is just a more significant part of Hawaiian culture, and that might have been why? Or
no, absolutely not.
Okay, because I was like, I don't think of Hawaiian culture when I think of glassblowing and vice versa, but maybe that's just me, not being from Hawaii. Then maybe this is some big part of that heritage that I've just been totally blind to. So if anything, I feel a little relieved that I at least wasn't totally blind to that.
Yeah, no, you're good. It would be more woodworking. We did like our own like gourd shapings. We made our own
Ooh.
ipus. They're like Hawaiian musical instruments. That was part of the course. We also did like basket weaving with like the palm leaves and like other like activities. We also made hapa and like rope and like things, and that was part of like the woodworking curriculum, which was required. But glass blowing was 100% an elective. I don't think the ancient Hawaiians had glass, so.
What was your
Yeah.
favorite elective that you did take that wasn't band?
That wasn't
or theater?
band?
Because you mentioned
Or
that you did
theater?
a good number of other ones.
Yeah. So I did a bunch of band. I did theater and musical theater. I also, oh my gosh, I did, for one semester, I did jazz dancing. And for one
Ooh.
semester, I did tap dancing. And for one semester, I did ballet. I also was on our JV softball team, and I was on the cheerleading squad. I also was the president of our school's BioBlitz club, and I did parkour and
I'm trying to figure out how the hours of the day work here. For cheerleading specifically, I have to assume at the very least that probably wasn't in the same season as marching band. So was it?
It
winter
was
cheer, or-
actually.
It
No,
was the
no,
same
it was
season.
the same season. So it would be interesting. So I would basically, I was one of two girls that did both cheerleading and marching band. So you would be on the cheer squad for the first half of the game, and then change uniforms at the end of the second quarter before the halftime show. Go out, march the halftime show, and then spend the second half of the game in the stands with the band.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know
Busy season.
I do remember that I think one year there was a member of the football team who was in the marching band, and he would be in the game on the sideline during the game, and basically he just didn't get a halftime because halftime he would be in the marching show, and it just meant that he wasn't playing in the stands during the plays because he had to always be there for that. I'm trying to remember if we had anyone that was on cheer. I don't think so. Or if there was, that they did cheer during the winter seasons and was on the basketball cheer squad, just not the football.
Yeah. So I did basketball and football for the cheer squad.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was definitely a busy season. Like I said, first half of the game, I would be like on cheer, change at the end of the second quarter from cheer uniform into band uniform, march the halftime show, and then go up to the stands with the band for the second half of the game.
Can't believe they made you actually change uniform, because I do remember, at least for the football player, they didn't make him shift out of his pads. He just marched in the pads for that because there was not going to be time. There simply was no realistic way for him to actually change from one to the other. And that was that. But that must have been a real fast change.
I mean, thankfully, those uniforms aren't too hard to put on. Like, I mean, you were in band, the pants are just like trousers. You throw them on, put on the suspenders,
you probably went
and then you throw on the jacket.
5-10 minutes before the end of the second quarter or something. So you're not necessarily, all right, last play, run, quick change that they probably put in that couple
It also
of minutes,
helped that it wasn't just me. It was like me and one other girl that were both doing cheer and band. So we like could help each other change and, like zip up and button up the band jacket like in the back. So that was really helpful too. And, we made it work. I only did that whole song and dance thing for like a year for the cheer and marching band at the same time, and then I just switched to only doing basketball cheer for 1 year, and then I was like, okay, you know what, I'm done. And then so I only did cheer for 2 years, but I did band for all 4 years. It was a lot. So I tried a lot of different things, a lot of different electives back when I was younger, which I think goes back to what we were saying maybe over an hour ago now, where I was saying, like, if you are younger still and you have these things available to you, I would just highly recommend just trying everything, because you never know what you're gonna like. Like, try stuff.
Yeah, if you don't
then you'll
like
be able
it,
to say that you tried all the things.
if you do one season of marching band, you're just like, I'm not having a good time. You didn't sign a blood contract, despite what some of us in band might feel like we did somehow. But you can do something else. You can try being in theater, try acting. If you don't like being on stage, see if you like being behind the scenes. See if you like doing tech crew, if you like doing
Yeah,
props,
the
if you
tech
like,
crew, MVPs.
yes. See, if you like doing lighting, you can get into some not only legitimately really interesting fields, but entirely viable career paths that nobody grows up saying, I want to be a lighting designer. Nobody's growing up saying, oh, I want to be a stage manager. But you can find yourself doing those things and saying, oh, wait, I really enjoy this.
Also, the more things that you try, the more skills you can develop, and a lot of those skills, maybe not how to, pull a curtain or make a light at a specific angle or how to track somebody on stage, but like certain skills that you develop by trying out all of these different things can be used as transferable skills. Like when
Skill
you're trying
overlap is so real.
Yes, skill overlap is so real, and in things that you wouldn't even think about.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when you're younger and you're trying to build like one of your first resumes, right? Let's say that you didn't really have a lot of time or the luxury or the need or desire to go get a part-time job while you're in school, right? Let's say you're building your first resume, like coming into college, like you're trying to get a job, maybe you want to work at the bookstore, like you are trying to get a job right out of college or some internships so that you can line yourself up for work after college. Like even just doing those electives or doing different school activities, you can list those on your resume. I'm sorry, I'm turning this into a business talk.
Oh, no,
now.
please. I 100% agree with everything you're saying.
You can list those on your resume and just find some way to use, I hate that I'm going to say this, use buzzwords to make your skills shine. Like use your experiences and your knowledge to make those skills relatable to the job, the internship, the opportunity that you're applying for.
And
there are so many transferable skills in life.
Let yourself get imposter syndrome and saying, oh, no, it's not real experience. It absolutely is. And even if you're using buzzwords, it's entirely legitimate. And I dare say, in a lot of ways, the experiences that you get and the skills that you learn doing things like theater, whether it's on stage, behind stage, or any number of extracurriculars, in a lot of ways, I think are more applicable to job applications and college applications than some part-time jobs. And obviously, if you're in a situation where getting a part-time job is important just because you need money, that obviously that is still very relevant and real experience. But in some ways, I almost feel like if you have the luxury where you do not need to get a part-time job when you're in high school and college, you will have a stronger, in terms of skill diversity, resume, most likely, at least, if you're able to spend those hours on extracurriculars. That
Agreed.
The types of things that you have there are actually more likely to mirror the different types of experiences that you're going to have in different fields of work and study. Now, on the other hand, if you have an area of passion where you're able to get a part-time job and that's actually just legitimately the career path and area of interest for you, then you've just won already. Then, hey, absolutely take that part-time job. But don't feel like you need to necessarily do retail to do non-retail business functions.
Agree. I feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like everybody at some point in their career portfolio, career life, career path goes through either some form, whether it's seasonal or part-time, retail or food service.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I know there is no feasible way to require it societally, but from I will call it a actual developmental standpoint. Yes. Engaging, even if it is just a part-time job. I worked at an ice cream place. That was my first paying job, and I only did it for a summer and a half. But the appreciation that you develop, the respect that you develop from being in a front-facing service position is something that I think everyone needs to have just as a matter of perspective and of understanding for those that do that for more than a year and a half.
Yeah.
That for those
Yeah.
that it is their career, of whether that's because it's their area of passion or just circumstance has made it so that is what is most practical for them at a given time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, you don't want to be the customer that everyone's talking about in the break room, just like, oh my God, I just had the biggest asshole. Just, don't be the reason that someone goes home exhausted, please.
Yes, please just be kind to your fellow humans.
Yes.
That's all I can say. I feel like working in retail, working in food service, like you said, they're both outward customer-facing service positions. It really teaches you a lot of perspective, and it also just teaches you basic customer service skills. I feel like in a lot of jobs, even if you're not customer-facing, let's just say you work in accounting, right? Like you're on the accounting end of a business. You don't really directly talk to customers. You're not like marketing, putting material out towards customers. Like you're not on the floor, like interacting with people. The company that you work for is still your customer.
Yes.
The people in other departments are your customers. Your coworkers are your customers. So like being able to have gone through, even if it is just a summer and a half, or however long it is, going through that experience of servicing customers and being front-facing, I think it lays some fundamental groundwork for knowing how to treat your quote-unquote customers in later careers and in later career positions as well.
Yeah, as trite as it sounds to say, oh, it helps you develop teamwork skills or it helps you with your communication ability, it does.
It does. It sounds so cheesy, but it does. Yes.
Yeah. And at the same time, there's so many varied food service, customer service, retail opportunities that when I was looking for a part-time job, and I was very fortunate that it wasn't a situation where I needed money, but I realized I didn't have anything significant for the summer, that, I was sort of beyond the age of going to summer camp and didn't have any major commitments. So it was like, okay, I might as well get something for my resume, and also it means that I'll have a little bit of extra spending money just for myself. I had the luxury where it wasn't a necessity, and immediately I knew, well, I'm not going to go and get a job at a makeup store. I am just not someone who has a passion for makeup. What can I say?
Sure.
I knew I didn't want to work in a restaurant. I just, for whatever reason, food service did not call to me, except for I had a friend that worked at this ice cream place, and that ice cream is different from working at something like a diner or a fast food place or a upscale restaurant. And it was like, people going to an ice cream place are usually going to be in a pretty good mood. People are happy to get ice cream, and that it seemed like something that would be, for me, more fun than most other forms of customer service, food service, retail. And so I applied for that and, had that focus. So maybe there's a shop at the mall. Gosh, I'm now realizing that I can't even say that as much anymore because malls are dying. But if there's a shop somewhere,
oh my gosh, I love malls.
Like your local game store, see if they want someone to, work the counter or do inventory, put the price stickers on cards. You could get paid to open boxes of cards. Someone has to do it. They won't be yours. They'll be going in the case. But hey, if I could, go back and get paid to just work at an LGS and do that, I would do that. I just didn't have any good LGSs near me growing up.
Same. But to your point, sorry, I'm gonna go back like half a step. I'm so sad that malls are dying. I've been to so many malls recently that are just like shop after shop that are like closing soon, closing like in 2 months or whatever it is. And I'm like, I love malls. I love I love the convenience of online shopping, but I also love going in and actually seeing the thing that I'm buying. Pictures can be so deceiving, but I'm going in there, I'm physically seeing the item, getting to touch it. Yeah, I'm touching the fabric, I'm getting to try it on, or I'm seeing the figure. It's not just some blown up photo on the internet, or I can, it's very tactile. It's a very gratifying feeling being able to walk through, window shop, hang out with friends. It's so sad it's dying. And I also just like getting food, sitting at the food court, and people watching. People watching is fun.
And obviously, physical retail is not dying. There are still many, many, many physical retail stores, and that you have a lot more of those smaller shopping centers set up. And it feels like nowadays malls are going to either be very successful or not. That there's a couple of big malls, I feel, per city metropolitan area that are the standards. They've been around and that they have stayed strong or grown in the past decade. And it's either that or they have just fallen into total disrepair and closure. There's not much of an in-between.
Agree. Strong agree.
But that when malls have that, standalone retail shops or smaller shopping centers don't have, like you're saying, is that walkability, that food court. Because yes, it was absolutely a hangout spot of, all right, you and your friends want to just spend an afternoon together and you don't necessarily want to go to one person's house or another. Just, let's hang out at the mall, grab a snack and just meander into a few shops and just chat. And that it's indoor and air conditioned or heated depending on what the climate is.
Well, I mean, I guess I can't say that. I grew up in Hawaii. Our large mall was an outdoor mall, actually. I think it's the largest open-air mall in the United States. Open air is the specific term. There's way larger, closed giant building malls, like the Great Mall of America and some other, probably ones in LA and Texas and stuff, but open-air mall, it's the largest one I think I saw at some point. So it was very weather dependent in that regard. If it rained, everything was wet.
But statistically, there's a reason that it was a open air one, because they knew that statistically most of the days were going to be fine because it's Hawaii.
Yeah, gorgeous weather. I love the Hawaii weather. So gorgeous. Beautiful 70 to 80 year round and sunshine.
Well, I guess because I want to make sure that we get to this before we just end up forgetting, because we've wound up on so many other amazing topics that we didn't plan for. I do need to make a point to get to Pokemon, because I even put in the show announcement, I was like, we're liable to talk about Pokemon. I figured we'd get there, but now I find myself having to almost forcefully railroad us there to make sure we don't forget it, because it is such a big thing for you and for me alike. And there's so many different ways to go here. I feel like I kind of have to start at the beginning of, what was your first interaction with Pokemon? Do you remember where you learned about it or how you first got introduced?
Yes. That's so funny, because I think we spent the majority of our pre-interview or pre-talk show interview just talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, and I had to say at some point,
we haven't mentioned Pokemon.
No, not at all. Yeah, because I intentionally kind of buried the lead and was like, okay, I know we will get there eventually, so I want to make sure that we get in some of these other really major points so we don't fall into the rabbit hole of Pokemon and spend the whole show there. And then I look down and we're almost at 2 hours. Like, wait a minute, we need to make sure to get to Pokemon.
What happened to Pokemon? Where did all the time go? But yes, no, I love Pokemon. I have been a Pokemon franchise enjoyer since I was really small young child. I was actually introduced to Pokemon by my parents. Believe it or not. My parents are also Pokemon fans. So I am Asian. It's one of my tags that I use on my stream, and I've talked about it before. I am Asian. My parents are into Asian culture, Asian trends, and I guess back in the day, Pokemon wasn't as mainstream popular, but it was something that was really popular in Japan and in Asia. So they actually started collecting Pokemon cards with the original Japanese set that had come out. So they were the ones that were originally into Pokemon. And then when my brother and I were old enough, I have a younger brother, they bought us our own Pokemon cards, and also the Topps cards was probably my first introduction to Pokemon. So we were collecting with our parents, which I thought was really cool. And then my first ever Pokemon game was actually Pokemon Red, and my brother got Pokemon Blue, and it's always kind of been that way growing up, having a brother that was pretty close in age to me. Whenever the new series came out, as a Pokemon fan yourself, they usually come out with 2 games at once, like Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire, Red, Leaf, Green. I probably skipped one, black, white, X, Y, sun, moon, etc., etc., etc. So we would always get both copies of the game, and then we would each choose which one we want. And it really worked out because in later versions, when they came out with version exclusives, we could trade with each other and help each other complete the Pokedex. So Pokemon has always been kind of like a family thing. Growing up, my parents were into it first, and they introduced me and my brother to it. When Pokemon Go came out, my entire family played Pokemon Go. Me, my brother, my sister, my mom, and my dad. My parents actually still play Pokemon Go. I'm kind of going on a little bit of a tangent here, but you also mentioned that you went to Japan for the first time recently.
Yes, last winter.
Last winter. I just did a Japan trip with my family earlier this year, and as silly as it is to say, the whole starting point for this Japan trip was they were having Pokemon Go Fest in Osaka this year.
Oh, because I knew you'd been to Japan. I did not know that was the inspiration for the trip, but that now scans.
That was it. That was the inspiration for the trip. So we're like, okay, so Go Fest is this weekend, this specific weekend, so we need to be in Osaka this weekend. Do we want to plan the trip to be before, after, overlapping with that weekend? And it kind of went from there. So we were there for 2 full weeks, and we spent 1 whole weekend just playing Pokemon Go in Osaka as like a family, and it was really fun.
Oh, that's so cool. My parents are not into Pokemon or Japanese culture at all. I first learned about Pokemon from a friend in kindergarten on the playground, and it was from the cards first, and then things from there. And based on all this, and basically the confirmation and realization of our many commonalities over the past several hours, that you and I were the right age at the right place at the right time for Pokemania to hit.
For Pokemon,
we were the target demographic. And
absolutely.
just, it meant that we were able to watch the Indigo League in anime when the anime came out, and that the very first video game I ever owned was Yellow version, which I got for my 7th birthday. I had played bits and pieces. I had started Pokemon Red and Blue on friends' Game Boys, and obviously not saved, because you were able to start the game, but as long as you didn't actually save, it wouldn't overwrite the file. So I had been up and down Route 1 to Viridian City a couple times, knew the basics, but didn't actually get my own until it was for my 7th birthday. And that Pokemon would have been, I suppose, the first anime that I watched. And
me too, probably, honestly.
It became the thing that I was into really throughout elementary school. And I played Silver version. I know it had over 200 hours on that file. It was a lot. And Ruby Sapphire came out, and Pokemon Advance, the anime, came out. And I sort of missed the boat a bit. Just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was that I stopped waking up to watch on Saturday morning. It wasn't that I grew disinterested or felt that, I had aged out of Pokemon, but just various circumstances around there that I sort of fell out of that. And I didn't have a Game Boy Advance. That was the other thing. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance when it first came out.
Yep.
But then I got ASP, and I was going to be going on a long road trip with family, I think, to visit some cousins in another state. And we had stopped by, it was like a Walmart or a Target, and I saw Pokemon Emerald in the game case there, and was like, oh yeah, there has been
I love
new.
Emerald.
And I knew that Ruby and Sapphire had come out, and was like, I love Pokemon. It was such a big thing, and I just sort of fell out of it, and like, I don't necessarily want that to be over, so I'm gonna get Emerald and, see if it's still there for me. And I have not missed a beat since.
Oh, let's go.
That's
amazing.
Played...
We have very similar stories in that regard. Same thing. I think Pokemon was probably one of the first animes that I ever watched. And then I always had the Nintendo consoles growing up. We had the N64, my Game Boy Color. We got the GameCube, the Advance SP, the DS, the DS Lite, and all the fun stuff, the 3DSs. I remember back when I had the Color and the Advance, the little USB like swirly light plug-in, because the screens didn't used to be backlit, or having to like sit up next to the window in the car and like
and
hold
just
it
hope
out
that
so that
wherever
the
you were
street
driving
lights...
had street lights, just hoping.
Yes!
Because if you were on the highway, you were probably fine because there was enough streetlights that there was going to be an ambient glow. But if you were on side roads or really anything that wasn't the highway, it was all right. There's going to be a streetlight every 5 seconds, and you gotta sort of see where it is there because it's going to be 2-3 seconds of light and then 4, 5, 6 seconds without light, and it's sort of like you're just this difficulty of trying to play unless you have that beautiful LED little thing with, like you said, the swirly, and usually it was, as was the style at the time, the sort of neon see-through that you could see like the wires inside and everything.
Yes. Yes, mine was purple. I remember that.
Yeah, purple. I feel like purple was the main color they had it in.
Yeah, I think I remember like purple and then like that blackish gray color that was still see-through. And then like a darker blue color as well, I remember. Yeah, but I remember all of that. I remember collecting the cards like back then, and really I think we only collected like that initial series of cards, like the tops, like the base set 2, Fossil Jungle, that kind of era. And then we kind of honestly fell out of collecting cards. Like we'd buy a couple packs here and there, but we weren't really collecting per se.
Yeah.
And then horrible time to get back into it. But maybe like at this point, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I really randomly came across like the Pokemon TCG category in Twitch. I was like, people play this game? And so I like clicked on it because I was curious. I'm like, oh, it's people opening packs. And I found myself really enjoying just like the community aspect of like somebody opening the packs and like, you know, everybody being like, oh my gosh, you know, like as a whole group. And it was like really neat. So I got back into collecting the TCG somewhat recently, like I said, maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And now I have like a more modern collection, but there's this whole gap, like this whole era of cards that I'm missing. And I'm just like, oh man, I wish I would have been collecting during that time, because like Ruby Sapphire were probably some of my favorite games, to be quite honest. Ruby Sapphire and Emerald. And I was really happy when they did the remakes of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And I'm actually playing those right now with Tane.
Yes, you are, and that is going to be your stream tomorrow.
Series. That is going to be my stream tomorrow. Yeah, we're doing a whole series. We've dubbed it Haglock because obviously we're old. And it's a Nuzlocke challenge. And it's actually her first time playing this game. It's my 3rd time playing it, but I never get tired of it. Like, Ruby Sapphire is honestly one of my favorite game sagas that they've come out with. But I kind of fell off of watching the anime. It's a goal of mine at some point. I think I've been saying this for a couple of years now, but I really want to go back and watch maybe not the whole anime series, because they put out a lot of episodes of the anime, but I want to go back and maybe watch all the movies in chronological order.
Okay, yeah,
I think that would be really fun.
That feels like a much more manageable task.
Yeah, you know how some people like get the urge and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch Harry Potter from the beginning. Like, oh, it's just like the Pokemon movies from the beginning.
I have gone back and rewatched the first, second, third, and I think like 5th movie. The 4th movie is okay. The Selby one isn't that great. And while I got back into the video games, I did fall off of the TCG and the anime also at Gen 3 and did not really pick those back up. I started watching Pokemon Journeys when it came on streaming, the one with Go where it was Ash's final time, and I didn't finish it because it actually went on for several seasons. But I watched a bit of that, and I've kept up sort of secondhand with the TCG via box openings and whatnot, because like you said, obviously that became a big content boom. And I guess in sort of a lucky way for myself that I have not felt compelled to buy the cards myself, but I do enjoy watching others, that if someone's doing a pack opening stream, I am very likely to tune into that, and that I'll watch a couple YouTube videos every now and again. So I've engaged that way, but didn't actually pick up collecting or watching the anime again after I picked up the games again in Gen 3. But the games I've now kept very, very consistently. And
yes, the games I've always played consistently. I played at least one version from each set of games that's been released, each generation, whatever we want to call it, whatever verbiage is correct, set, generation. I've played at least one of each, because like I said, grew up with my brother. Even to this day, like, we try to get the opposite versions. I think Legends ZA is only one version. Like, Legends Arceus was only one version. But like,
I'm entirely
Scarlet and
liable.
Violet, we'll get like the opposites.
I'm very liable of when this show wraps up, I'm
Mhm.
probably just going to turn on my Switch 2 and play Legends ZA.
Honestly, probably same. I have not finished it yet.
Same. No, the
But
one thing I
it's been pretty
said
fun
was
so
like,
far.
please, Amai, the only thing I will ask in terms of no spoilers for Pokemon, if you get to the end game of ZA, please do not tell me, because I have
No,
avoided spoilers.
I'm not even close to the end game. You might honestly be farther than me. I like just did my promotion match with Kanari.
Okay, I'm a bit farther than you.
Yeah.
I am at a point where I have just been invited to the Fancy Pants Hotel.
Oh, well, I don't think I'm there yet.
Yeah. That because I do remember facing Kanari in that little arc, and just in general, one thing I'll say about ZA is I think this is some of the strongest. I think it's the strongest cast of characters that a Pokemon game has had in a while. Of just
Yeah.
I like every character. And
I like the characters.
There's really no character that I see and is like, oh, great, this person again. When can we get to the next one? Just even the ones that are meant to be a little bit more annoying, I find endearing in some way or another.
If I had to make one complaint about the game, I am really, 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 really sad that there's no cute fashion. Like, I see people putting together cute fits. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cute. But like, there's nothing to me that's like, oh, I want to wear that outfit, you know? But like, fashion doesn't make the game, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I've probably spent like several 100,000 Pokézenny on like clothes, and I still can't find something that I like. It's a problem. I've even done all the side quests to like unlock the hair colors and like the eye colors. I'm like,
I found a jacket that I liked within the first 5 hours of the game, and I've had it ever since. I don't think I have changed out of the default pants and shoes.
Oh, the long jeans.
Yeah,
looking
just
pants.
it's basic and it's fine. And if I find something else, I will. But I don't know. I've not really prioritized the clothing shopping much, but I should probably make a point of actually looking into them more. I have a love-hate relationship with how spread out it is.
Yeah.
Because at least
to be honest, you're not missing much. It's okay.
Because at least in Arceus, all of the clothing was at a singular store. And it was just that one catalog would grow and grow and grow. But here, it's spread out. And, in some ways, that's fun. It's a little realistic of, sort of like shopping at a mall. That you have to find the store and you have to go around. That's neat. It is a little less convenient, but I wouldn't even register it as a complaint. That's just different.
Yeah.
But,
I guess my only other complaint about the game really is that I felt like they were I don't know if lazy is the right word, but I feel like they were maybe a little bit lazy with like the building texturing. It looks like a flat PNG that they just slapped onto some shapes and called buildings.
I'll admit that I've been so
Like, everything's flat.
engrossed by everything else that I have not bothered to notice that I'm sure if I looked at it for more than a couple seconds, that you're probably right. And I'm just so enchanted by all the other stuff surrounding it that I am effectively distracted from that deficiency.
Sure.
But at the very least, I take that as something of a success of, okay, you're distracting me from your weak point.
That's fair. I love seeing the Pokemon spawn in the overworld. I think that's really fun. I also loved that in like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Those games, by the way, were also very unique. Lots of fun. I loved that they incorporated the Pokemon Go catch mechanic for that. But then also that you could like ride on the Pokemon, like you could fly on Charizard.
Yeah, that was very cute.
Yeah, that was really cute. And like you could like ride on the back of Tauros or like surf on Lapras or whatever Pokemon that you happen to have in your party. And I thought that was really neat. Or if you couldn't ride on them, then they would still like follow you around as a buddy. Like, homage to Pokemon Yellow where they had Pikachu following you around.
And then Heart Gold, Soul Silver where you had anything following you, whatever was first in your party.
Yes. Do you remember Heart Gold, Soul Silver specifically? They had the little Poke Tamagotchi thing.
Yeah, the Pokewalker. Yes.
Yes, I loved that because you could like put a little Pokemon in there with you.
Just have
I remember taking
with
that
you
with me around. I'm like, yeah,
and they would
that was
pick
so
up
cute.
items and get a little bit of XP.
Yes, I loved that. I
I was
loved that. And
always
then they brought
scared
it
though that
back with
I
Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but you couldn't like see it because it didn't have a screen. It was just like in that little
yeah, that
Pokeball controller.
I didn't like that as much because so I never actually bought either of the Let's Go games. I am glad they exist. I think they're very important because they are the ideal parent-child Pokemon games. That,
Mhm.
and especially given timing of you think about it's what was it, 22, 3, 4 years? Because it was just before the 25th anniversary, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, I think
Let's Go
so.
came out, but that it is at an appropriate amount of time where the folks who grew up with Red, Blue, Yellow would be
Mhm.
potentially having small children that are about of that age, and that
Mhm.
it's the perfect one, I think, to play with a young child, and especially with the similarity and overlap with Pokemon Go, which statistically, just because of the number of downloads that game has, is going to
Mhm.
have been the first touch point of Pokemon for a good number of kids. That
Yeah.
uh, one of the things I love most about Pokemon that legitimately brings me so much just like
Joy.
just yes, joy and fulfillment. I am so happy that kids today get to grow up with Pokemon like we did.
Yeah.
I
Same.
whatever complaints that there are of yes, was Scarlet Violet not as polished as it by all rights should have been. No, it was not as polished as it
No, it
should have
was
been.
not.
I want them to do better. I think they can, and
Mhm.
that. So I've read ZA was actually delayed because they wanted to give it more polish. So
I did read that as
hopefully
well. Yep.
that is a direct reaction, and that whenever they announce Gen 10, which also, holy crap, we're at Generation 10.
Can you
It's
believe
kind of
we're at
weird to
Generation
think.
10? That's kind of
Like, that's
insane.
it
But also because they delayed ZA's or an initial release date to make sure they had time to, polish up
caused the
more
quick
things.
follow-up with the DLC.
Cause the quick deal
Yeah,
follow-up for
which looks kind of
DLC,
weird, and
yeah.
that you
It's kind of
with
weird, a weird
that with
little
the context
timeline.
of okay, the game was delayed because they wanted to do that, but that
Mhm.
scheduling wise in release calendars, they weren't
Mhm.
able to delay the DLC. On paper, it makes sense, but without the context, I entirely understand why people are sort of side-eyeing it.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. Like on paper, it makes sense. I understand. Like, yes, you pushed back the initial release because you wanted to make sure the game like was optimized, it ran well. But like the DLC coming so soon after, like I haven't even finished the game yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for the DLC.
Yeah.
Like they just released the mystery gift thing. Like you
Mhm.
remember Scarlet? Did you play Scarlet and Violet?
Yes.
Okay, so Scarlet and Violet, they had the mystery gift. The Pecha Berry mystery gift, like extra content
Mm,
where you met Pecha Runt. You remember like the Mochi Mochi
yeah.
thing?
Mm,
Yeah. So they already released the mystery gift extra content for ZA, and I haven't even finished the game yet. Like you have to finish the game before you can even download that content, which is before
yeah.
the DLC. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all so fast.
But I look at that and say whatever you want of, oh, Pokemon's greedy, and I actually do not think they're as nearly as greedy as they could be. I think that if they wanted to be outright greedy, they could nickel and dime the fandom a lot more than they do, to be quite frank.
Yeah. I mean, I think haters will always just be haters, and not to like throw one under the bus because I love both, but I think that if you're gonna say a company's greedy, Disney is way more greedy than Pokemon.
Yeah,
Like I think Pokemon cares about their fans a lot more than Disney does. But I do love both.
yeah, for sure. But the fact that they couldn't find the time to delay the DLC for ZA implies that they have something else on their timeline that is
Mhm.
occupying that space that they cannot move, which
Mhm.
suggests to me that we may be on the precipice of a Gen 10 announcement.
I think so. Like I would not be surprised if we get a Gen 10 announcement 2026. Like an
I think
announcement
2026
early,
Pokemon
like
Day
first
could be it, because that's
yeah, I
in
was going to say
February.
I was going to say late first quarter,
Hmm.
early second quarter we're probably going to get a Pokemon announcement, and I would not be surprised if in their Thanksgiving Christmas slot where they like to release games
Yeah,
normally, we get Gen
yeah,
10. That would
the
be
ZA slot from
in
this
my
year,
business
I think, will
mind. That's
be
what I'm thinking.
yeah. I'm very much, if I had to place a bet today, my guess is that Gen 10 is announced on Pokemon Day in February with the release date of
Mhm.
holiday 2026 around the time that we've had
Mhm.
here for ZA or maybe the November slot.
Mm-hmm.
One or the other, but yeah, I think it's about time, and I'm very excited to see where it all goes, and just, it's, the base 10 numeric system that we as a society have landed on is entirely arbitrary, that, numbers aren't real, time isn't real, but we've made it real, and that for the base 10 numeric system that we have, 10 is that milestone. It's that landmark of
It
9.
is
It doesn't mean as much
milestone.
as 9, and it doesn't mean as much as 11. Hitting the 10 is a big deal, and it's so cool.
You know what
and
else
it
too?
just,
I think that 2026 is also the 30-year anniversary of
is it the
Pokemon as a
clean 30?
franchise.
Ooh, that too.
Yeah, so I think it's like
That's-
30-year anniversary and Gen
And the
10
10,
in one year.
mhm.
It's gonna be like a huge year for Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on a big Pokemon year.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and like I said, I'm just so happy that kids get to grow up with Pokemon. One thing that actually occurred to me, I'm very curious, as someone who grew up in Hawaii, do you feel that Sun and Moon did a good job of portraying Hawaiian culture?
Yes? Yes. I'm gonna go with yes. I think that they did a good job of portraying it. I don't know what the whole hand motion thing was for Alola, but I really loved that they kept with the island chain shape. Yes, there weren't the same number of islands as there are like Hawaiian islands, but I do like the setting that they put in there. I liked that they incorporated surfing. I know that's a really big part of our culture. I'm not very good at surfing. I've tried it before. I'm very bad at it. But that's a huge thing. I love that they included the malasadas. If people have never had a malasada before, you are totally missing out. You should go have a malasada. But yeah, no, I think they did a good job. They did the fire dancing, they did the hula, they did like the whole atmosphere of being kind of like laid back, very kind, caring, welcoming community, because Hawaii is like really big on community and helping out other folks on the island. I love that you could surf between the islands. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I was initially, I'm going to tell you the truth because my chat already knows this. I was initially really excited for Sun and Moon when I heard that it was based on the Pacific region, right? Not just native to Hawaii, but like Pacific region, Pacific Islands, like Samoa and other islands in that area. So I was really excited about that when they announced the games. And then I bought the games, and initially I was playing it by myself because they released it at a point where I had like already moved out of my parents' house. My brother did actually get the other games, so like I got Sun and he got Moon. But we were like kind of not together, like physically together at that point to play them together. So I was playing it by myself, and honestly, I thought that the tutorial was really long, and the pacing of the game was kind of weird. Like it was really slow and felt kind of grindy. So on my first attempt through the game, I actually didn't even finish it. I think I only made it through like the first island. I was like, why do I just feel like I'm just on such a grind fest? Like this doesn't have the same pacing as Pokemon games that I'm used to. And so I kind of like gave up. And then they released Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I was like, you know what? I give it another shot. And so I got Ultra Moon since I got Sun the first time, and then my brother got Ultra Sun. And then I actually played it through more of it that time. And then I don't think I ever finished it, but then I finally dedicated myself 3 times the time, and I actually played it on stream with everybody, and I finished it, and I think they did a really good job. But I think part of what made it better for me was being able to play it with people because of the different pacing that there is in that game.
I will definitely agree, and I don't think it's a hot take. I think if you ask most Pokemon fans that it's, I don't necessarily want to say universal, but I think it is a common sentiment that the pacing on Sun and Moon is the worst of the franchise, and I don't
the
feel like
pacing
it's
was
particularly close. Of just
not great.
the number of cutscenes is frankly egregious. That they try to lean into the characters in the story, and the characters in the story are good, but the way in which they do it, and that they consistently interrupt the flow of the game to have those full-on animated cutscenes and not just the overworld-based character conversations that you have in the other games really do take you out of it. And same for me, it is the game that took me the longest to beat. I beat Sword and Shield before I beat Sun and Moon. I sort of fell out of Sun and Moon probably somewhere around the halfway point. And then for several years, it became my travel game of when I went on a flight, I still had it loaded up in my 3DS and that I would play it on the flight, but I didn't feel really compelled to play it at other times. So it became that fallback for me, and I finally did actually beat it. And one thing that I do love from Sun and Moon that I wish the other games had, that I'd wanted it for years, and actually said in a show, I don't remember which one it was, with another guest who had beaten it, oh, I wish they did this thing in a Pokemon game. They said, oh, they did in Sun and Moon. Was like, crap, now I need to beat it. And that is to let you act as a sitting champion.
Yes. Yes.
I always wanted to be able to actually say, you know, I am the champion. I have this role, this honor, and I am now taking on challengers. I am defending my title, and that I have the prestige, and that the rest of the NPCs in games recognize this, because in everything else, it's all right, you beat it, and then you go right back to where you beat it, and that you don't really get the in-game recognition of it.
Yeah,
you don't
and
get
then the
to
champion's
celebrate.
still there, and you can go battle the Elite Four again. Yeah.
And
I think
I wish they brought that back.
I think that's the only game that does that, right?
Yeah, that they haven't done it since, and I wish they did. I think that was such a great concept, and it was the reward after that long, poorly paced grind, and then they just didn't use it again. And I don't feel like there was anything that, yes, narratively there was the concept of you are this region's first champion, but it still stands to reason in every other region that when you are the champion, like you see with Leon or with Lance or whoever, that the sitting champion stays a champion. And I wish that they would bring that back.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really cool in that game too. It took a long time for me to be able to beat Sun and Moon because of the pacing, but I think, to your point, there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of cutscenes that really throw off like the groove that you're getting to or the rhythm of the game. But I think that what made it better was being able to stream it with people. I got to like read the voice lines out loud, voice the characters, and I think that helped me to enjoy it a little bit more versus me sitting there probably by myself in silence, kind of going like, oh my god, again? I can
completely see how that suddenly the slower pacing becomes better for a streaming environment, because like you said, now you're really enabled, and that you're probably not going to voice the characters when you're sitting, you know, in your room or on an airplane to yourself.
But talk to yourself.
For streaming, that's great. Or, all right, it's a little bit slower for now, I can catch up with chat. And that when you're doing all the different aspects of running a live stream, that having a couple extra seconds where you don't necessarily need to be hands-on with the game is a benefit. So I can entirely see how that would be the optimal sort of playing experience for that game.
Yeah, for that game specifically. By myself, it was definitely a drag. Put it down both times I tried to play it by myself. Regular Sun, Ultra Moon. I did not actually finish it until I was like on stream, interacting with people, like having folks there to be with me through the game. But yeah, no, it was, back to your original question, I think they did a pretty good job of encompassing, like, you know, the islands, the culture. I like that they incorporated, like, you know, the food, the malasadas. They included some little Easter eggs of, like, cultural notes.
I was
like
going to ask,
Alola,
like,
obviously, Aloha.
Were there any references or wordplay that you don't think the average person would have clocked? That I think the layman probably clocked Alola, Aloha, but you know, I don't know if Tapu Fini, Tapu Koko, I don't know if Tapu is an existing word or a play on an existing word in a Pacific Island language of any variety, or if there's something else in the game that isn't necessarily meant to be hidden, but one that the layman might not, you know, see or realize.
You know, I'm forgetting the names that they use. Are they called like island champions or something? Island coaches, or not coaches? Island like the people that you beat along the island trials and
Yeah, because it wasn't the Kahunas.
the
It
Kahunas.
was it
Yes,
the
the
Kahunas? Yeah.
Kahunas. No, maybe I don't know. Maybe. But there's the one guy that's like on top of the mountain, kind of like the gym leaders, but they're not gym leaders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it
Um,
was Kahunas. Yeah.
yeah, Kahuna. So there's the well, Kahuna is a Hawaiian word. Kahuna literally means like a wise man, a shaman, usually a leader, an important person, or the most important person on an island. So that's Hawaiian. But there's the one pretty obvious one is Kiave, and he is the volcano. I don't want to call him the volcano kahuna, but he's like on top of the volcano. He's got the Alolan Marowak, and like they do the fire dancing and stuff. Kiave is actually a type of wood that is traditionally used as firewood or a fire starter in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's like other little things like that that are kind of sprinkled in, and I thought they did it pretty respectably, and like it was really cool. I liked it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Kahuna. Yeah, Kahuna. Okay.
Do you have a favorite spin-off game?
A favorite spin-off game.
And I will classify a spin-off game as literally anything that isn't a mainline initial or direct remake. So I'm not going to count Heart Gold Soul Silver as a spin-off. That's remake. That's a core mainline. I consider the Legends games spin-offs. I consider, any of the various different genre ones, Snap, Troze, anything else like that, to be spin-offs.
Oh, you think Snap is mainstream?
No.
Oh, no, Snap is a spin-off.
Snap's a spin-off.
Okay. I mean, I did really enjoy Pokemon Snap, but I think if we're going with like quote-unquote favorite in terms of the game that I probably played the most, I want to say it was like I think it's the Pokemon Stadium 2. It's the one that has like the Clefairy memory game and like the Lickitung sushi belt.
That's
and, like,
Stadium 1.
Is it Stadium 1?
Yeah.
That one. That's the one that I like. And it had like the pincer like inside there,
Yeah,
like
the
choppy wood one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I played so much of that back in the day, but also I really enjoyed Mystery Dungeon. I feel like not a lot of people talk about Mystery Dungeon.
Well, I feel like Mystery Dungeon has become a cult classic because anyone who has played the Mystery Dungeon games loves them. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if I've encountered anybody who just said, "Oh, I thought those were bad games," or I think it didn't play well, didn't have a good time. Some certainly love it more than others. Some hold the Mystery Dungeons up as their favorites of the entire franchise. But I don't think I've ever encountered anyone who just said, "Oh, I didn't enjoy it. I had a bad time."
Yeah, nah.
But I agree that not enough people have played it, that they were all on the DS except for the first, which also had one on GBA. But
yeah, I think most of them were on the DS, but I really enjoyed Mystery Dungeon. I don't feel like a lot of people have played them. They play differently than all of the other mainstream Pokemon games.
Yes.
I think they're fun, but I guess I would say, like, if you're asking me, like, my favorite game, like, an actual, like, spin-off game, probably that one, because it actually has, like, a story that it's like, it is an RPG that you're, like, following through, versus, like, Stadium is just, like, Pokemon-themed mini-games, which were also very fun, but,
and the
mini-games versus games.
Pseudo-campaign mode and rental, which is a game unto itself, because all the rentals were really bad, so it was such a challenge to use the rentals if you weren't actually using the game pack imports from your Game Boy games, because you had to figure out how to use these deeply suboptimal Pokemon.
Do you remember Gale of Darkness?
Yes. Ooh, the Coliseum games. I have mixed feelings about those games. I felt they were too restrictive. The fact that you could only catch shadow Pokemon, and that each shadow Pokemon was a single encounter. So you naturally felt compelled to save scum. That if you knock out the Pokemon or if you don't catch it, that you're going to reset, because that is your only chance. That you only get that.
Then you missed out.
And that the Pokemon list for the entire game is so restrictive.
It's so small.
From that on top, because the literal number of Pokemon, the species that you can catch, are a fraction of any other game, and that the party composition is going to be very limited, and which ones are even good, because some of them just aren't going to be good past a certain point of the game, because they're just, some Pokemon that part of good design is having some be stronger than others, of being able to evaluate that. That is a good thing, that there are weak Pokemon and strong Pokemon. But when you already have a limited pool, and some of them are weak, it means that the true pool is even smaller.
Yeah. Like the viable, quote-unquote, viable Pokemon for your party. Yeah. I feel like at the time that Gale of Darkness came out, I was too young to think about what was viable or not, so I probably didn't care as much. Yeah. Looking back on it now, I totally see your point.
But the problem there is, if you don't know that as much, you're more likely to hit a wall.
True. Also true.
But
I feel like as a child, you just don't think about those things really.
And there was also, I'm trying to remember, but I think there was also a hard XP cap because there weren't wild battles. So outside of trainer battles, if I train up these suboptimal Pokemon and then realize, I need to pivot my team, you can't. You can't actually train up your Pokemon past a point. Unless there was some repeatable battle that I'm forgetting, but even in that case, you're now having to grind this, presumably one of a small pool of repetitive battles ad nauseum to train up your team, because you can't go exploring or find more trainers or do wild battles. So while I think that the Shadow Pokemon concept is awesome, and I love the story and I love the world, the fact that there was just no wild battles or catching, I think stripped out a core element of the franchise.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. Yeah. I was kind of mentioning it because I thought it was interesting that that's one of the games that they decided to bring back for the Switch 2 like retro library.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, Gale of Darkness, that's cool. Yeah.
Gale of Darkness rides entirely on the back of Shadow Lugia, and to be fair, Shadow Lugia is really freaking cool. It is such a good design. Cool. Oh my gosh. But
did you did you play Pokemon Go at all ever?
I played it in its initial release. That the summer of 2016 was the summer of Pokemon Go, and I fell off of that. But I don't play mobile games much in general. But I don't play Honkai. I don't play any of the Hoyoverse. I don't play Musume. That's just me stylistically. I understand why people like them, and I know that folks, and I know that they are well-designed games. It's just not how I usually spend my game.
It's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. But I did play Pokemon Go at least for more than others.
Gotcha. I don't remember when they introduced them. I don't know if it was on launch. I don't think it was. But they do have Shadow Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it was definitely not at launch.
It was definitely not at launch. But I think it's really interesting how they introduced the mechanic, because basically you get these Shadow Pokemon that have been like brainwashed, or I don't want to use the word tortured, but like brainwashed or tortured by like Team Rocket, basically.
Enraged, of just almost like
enraged and in pain, and it's like a whole thing, and it just like goes back to, and I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna turn the tables on you again here. Who do you think is the most evil villain group in Pokemon?
Ooh, okay. So I need a specification here. Is it the most evil villain group at large, or the most evil villain boss?
Both. We'll do one of each.
Okay. And now I'm like triple checking the list of villain teams just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anyone. That I don't think it is out of line for me to say what I feel most people agree with, which is to say that Team Flare is the bottom of the barrel. Just for where you are in ZA, you have probably met someone who you recognize.
Yes, I recognized him instantly.
And I'm happy to see him because I want him to have a redemption, because I thought he was a terrible I thought his characterization was terrible. I thought there was really nothing compelling or interesting about him. I thought it is the worst sin of all. He was boring.
Mhm.
And it looks like they're actually going to use him better here than they did in his initial appearance. And I'm very happy for that.
Well, that's good. I'm excited for that.
I think that the most evil individual leader
Mhm.
is Gestus, and by a
Okay,
pretty
yep.
significant margin. That
Mhm.
Gestus not only was doing the whole evil take over the world shtick, but also outright emotional manipulation,
Yep.
shadow puppeteering, and torture of various Pokemon and people to an extent. So,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
that I can't say that Team Plasma is the most evil team because the layman grunt and the people who believed in the goals of Team Plasma as publicly stated, while I would say I disagree with them, that
Mhm.
I think it is at least a respectable thing. I don't think that the average member of Team Plasma meant harm for anybody.
Mhm.
Gestus obviously meant harm for many.
Yes. 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 Yes.
In terms of most evil team outright,
Mhm.
it would have to really either go to Rocket or Galactic. I would have to double check and try and remember the presentation of Galactic at large, because their whole thing was, they want to like recreate the universe or something of
Something to that
some sort
effect.
of platitudes, and it was a very thin platitude to be sure.
Mhm.
But to a lesser extent from Team Plasma, but to a non-zero extent, you could probably say that Team Galactic members thought that they were trying to make a better world, in that they probably didn't understand Cyrus's machinations of creating a new world means the literal and total destruction of the current one.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. For me, I think
Whereas
I'm on a
Team
very
Rocket
similar
is
boat to you.
just the Yakuza. It's
Yeah.
just the Yakuza. They know they're evil. They're upfront about it. Nobody in Team Rocket has any delusions. Even the lowest of grunts knows that
Yep.
they are stealing from people and that they are harming
Yes.
people and doing these evil things
Yes.
for the sake of evil.
Yes. Let me break your kneecaps and steal your Pokemon.
Yes. And
Yes.
Team Yell is a toxic fan base, which I think is hilarious. I love that. I think that is just so good. And without getting into too much spoiler territory, Team Star has a giant asterisk
Team
next to them.
Star, I feel like wasn't even a villain group,
No,
to be completely honest.
they're antagonistic at best.
Yes, they're antagonistic at best. They're
Yeah.
like rebellious children, to be
Yes,
honest.
and
Like,
that's the other thing,
not
that they're
villains
literal
in
children.
Yeah. I agree with most everything that you said. I agree. Getsus is like the most evil like boss.
That or maybe
Boss?
Lucamine, because Lucamine and Gestus have very similar sins, shall we say.
I would still go with Getsus.
Yeah, but I think
I
Gestus,
think he's the
yeah.
most evil boss.
Yeah.
I think group, I would say Team Rocket. Like, they're just evil for the sake of evil. They're evil for the sake of villains. They're villains for the sake of evil.
Yep.
And like literally Giovanni is over here dimension hopping in Sun and Moon and bringing other evil boss crime syndicates.
I will say,
into
I
the
think
current world.
Giovanni is the best villain character
Yes.
to this day. He's just
Yes.
the best one in terms of even back in Red, Blue, Yellow, when
Yeah, it
you
sounds
can,
weird to say, but he's a very clean written villain.
yeah, that it doesn't
Yeah.
always need to be complex. He felt menacing, even in those little unrefined pixels. The way that they had him stand and the way they built up to his appearance in Silphco, and then having him be the surprise final gym leader, that
Mhm.
he actually inspired a sense of fear and just, oh dang, you need to take him seriously in a way that I
Mhm. It's
felt
like,
that a lot of other villain leaders, Gestus got there,
yeah.
but that was not from the beginning. His was, it was not a well hidden heel turn for him. You could sort of tell from the all right, this guy's sketchy as hell.
Yeah, this
This
guy's kind of
guy's not
sus.
good. But that was more of the okay, he's almost certainly a villain, but not necessarily the you see him and you know outright you should fear him, which is what you get with Giovanni.
Yeah, I remember back in the original anime, there was like a scene or something of Giovanni going down like a little kid slide with his Persian. And that was like the most
Oh,
wholesome
yeah.
image I think I have of Giovanni.
Well, because I don't even think that was the real one. Wasn't that because I think it was around season 3 or 4 that Meowth would have these delusions of, oh, when we catch Pikachu, the boss will be so happy with us, and that none of those things were ever real. That these were all projected
I think you're
fantasies
right. I think you're
in
right.
Meowth's mind of the boss being happy with them or celebrating or something because Jesse James and Meowth had finally done something good and gotten his praise. I don't think we ever actually see Giovanni himself doing anything so frivolous.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. Now that you're saying it out loud, I just remember like having this image of that in my head. I'm like, I swear that happened at some point, or it was shown in an episode.
It was. It definitely was.
But yes, no, I totally remember that. And just like Team Rocket throughout the anime series too, like Jesse James and Meowth, obviously evil, but like with some sort of a moral conscience,
and
was
also
always fun too.
I was more sad about them writing Team Rocket out of the show than writing Ash out of the show.
Yeah, comedy relief. Oh, wait, actually, speaking of, I haven't watched any of Horizons, but I heard that they did a time skip and like adult Ash is actually in the show now. They brought him back.
Good. I was hoping they would do that.
Yeah, they brought him
that
back,
makes me
and they
so
gave
happy.
him like an OP team or something. Like I think my
Good.
brother.
I want to see OP Ash reaping the literal decades of work that he has put in. I want to see him be that city champion. Like,
yeah, he's finally aged.
Yes.
He's like taller. He's got longer hair now. He looks more mature, but he still got his Pikachu.
Yeah.
And then I think that when they showed his team, it was like Pikachu, Charizard, Greninja, Lucario, Sceptile.
The
and
All-Stars, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, and that was one thing I had said when they announced that they were retiring. That, okay, I can understand finally letting him go into the sunset. Frankly, I think they should have done it sooner. I think they should have taken the Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure of each season, each generation, so to speak, a new protagonist. And, you know, after however many years, they finally decided to do something different, and it was a very...
Yeah. After 28 years.
Yeah, I think they handled that handoff very well, that they let him have that big finale where it was, all right, we're bringing back all these past champions and we're letting him finally have the crown and all the cameos, and they let him have a proper ride off into the sunset. And I was very pleased with that.
I was very pleased with that. I know you and I both said we didn't really keep up with the anime after a certain point, but I did come back for the very, very end just to watch that final arc of battles against like the champions. Just to see
and that
Ash
was
off.
great. And the thing I was hoping, and I'm so glad to hear that, I hoped that they would bring him back at least for cameo appearances, of make him the, oh shit, he's back, and that whether I didn't want him to necessarily save the new protagonists and undo whatever work they've done, but I wanted them to be able to use him as a character in some way, so I'm glad they are.
Yeah, I'm glad that they brought him back. I don't know if he's going to stay in the series,
No,
but they
I think
did
you
do
need
a
to use
time
him in
skip.
moderation, otherwise it'll lose the effect.
He aged, he looks older now. I remember my brother sent me like a picture. He's like, they brought Ash back, and they show like Ash standing there with his team behind him. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, that was really cool. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about right before that?
Villain teams?
Villain teams. No, after that.
Villain teams, anime, Ash going sunset, Team Rocket, Giovanni.
I found the picture. Sorry, I pulled up my phone to see the pictures that my brother sent me. So it's grown-up Ash, Pikachu, Charizard, Sceptile, Garchomp, Lucario, and Greninja.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm actually on...
All-Star team of all-star teams. That's really cool. Adult Ash returning.
Dang, now I lost my train of thought for a moment there.
Mhm.
So I'd asked you earlier which your favorite spinoffs were to flip around. Mine are actually, I know it's kind of tried to say because they're more recent. I really love the Legends games. Legends
Oh, the
Arceus, I
Legend
thought was such
games.
a breath of fresh air that the. I know some people felt that the world didn't have enough stuff in it. I felt that the
Mhm.
desolate environment was the point. That this
Yeah.
is undeveloped Hoenn. There aren't
Yeah.
cities. Yes, there is a lot of just empty space. That's what nature is.
Yes.
That
Go out and touch some
you're
grass.
going through this, and that when
Endearingly.
you find signs of life, that is when something is special and notable and different. And
Mhm.
just the whole vastness and being able to see different parts of the region and notice, oh, this is the spot that will become this city, or this is that
Mhm.
lake that isn't quite in the formation that we know it yet. And ZA, I think, very deliberately goes in the complete opposite direction, that it goes from being undeveloped to you are entirely encompassed within this city. And
Mhm.
to an extent, I do miss in ZA that there aren't as many landmarks to stumble across and have that sort of realization and joy, because,
Yeah.
you have the tower in the center, but the rest of the city in the original was just a city. It's not like there's
Yeah.
anything that should be a reference there that is missing. There just wasn't stuff there to begin with, simply. And at the same time, I don't think that they could have really done more with the city. And I think that for their design intent, it wouldn't have worked to have you traveling all around the Kalos region from city to city, because then it's just more normal again. So,
Yeah. No, I
it,
totally understand what you're saying, but I guess it's like a good and a bad thing. It is a design choice. It's a
yeah,
good and a bad thing. Double-edged sword. So I get very lost very easily in video games. And the fact that, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, probably why you haven't noticed it, but I have, it's like because I get lost so easily, I usually use like environmental landmarks or cues to help myself navigate.
mm,
And because it's in a city and all the buildings look very flat, there's no texture, really, it's like a flat PNG stuck onto a shape to me. Like, it all looks the same. And I know that's a design choice.
this is very interesting because
But like
this.
it's really hard for me to navigate in the city. I'm constantly like having to open the map. Like all of the corridors look the same. It's like a repeating pattern of the same flat PNG on every building.
So you bring up a really interesting point, because I find myself in the same position.
Mhm.
I think I'm pretty good with directions, but even though the absolute space of Lumio City is not as big as the entirety of the Hoenn Sui region was in Arceus, that
Mhm.
the effective used space is probably about the same, because, like I was saying, there was all of this void in Hisui, which there
Mhm.
simply isn't, because the city's a city. Every square inch is used one way or another. And
Yes.
I also get lost, but my style is I don't use landmarks. I just use the map a lot. That if I don't know where I am, I'm immediately opening the map and either setting a
Ah.
waypoint or fast traveling. So I'm going around and navigating myself that way. And since I'm not looking for the landmarks as much, but more relying on the map, that's part of why I haven't taken the time to probably notice those things that you've noticed. And that's just sort of
Mm.
a stylistic thing in
Different play
how each of
styles.
us
Yeah.
navigate. But in a roundabout way, I almost feel like if you go into a big city, if you go to New York City or wherever, and you don't know it and you don't have a map, all the buildings can kind of start looking the same at a point.
Yeah.
That
True.
it's all right, it's another big concrete or glass building, it is a
Mhm.
rectangle, it's somewhere, and we got a lot of
Yep.
office buildings here and there. And I would it be nice to have probably higher resolution, a bit more developed PNGs, perhaps, but at the same
Sure.
time, I look at some buildings nowadays and I look and say, it just looks like a PNG. It's just so basic. There's not much to it, because
Yeah.
it's either bricks or glass or concrete.
Yeah.
And in that sense, whether it is design intent or not, I think it
Mhm.
winds up being more fitting, if anything.
Sure.
Um,
Like,
sort of interesting.
okay, do me a favor. Whenever you play the game next, like, look at the detail and texture in the sewers, and then look at the detail and texture in the cities.
Hmm.
Because the bricks are very different.
Yeah. Because I have been to the sewers, and I did notice that.
Yes. Like, just like the bricks, like, on the sides of the buildings versus, like, the bricks on the walls in the sewers, or even on the ground in the sewers versus the ground in the city. Like, it's
Yeah.
very noticeably different.
Mm.
Like, there's more, I don't know if it's just a more textured, like, I hate using the same word twice, but a more a more detailed
Yeah.
texture
Mm.
pattern that they applied to the sewer, or a less detailed texture they applied to the city. I don't know if it's because they wanted to cut down on like processing power for like rendering the city as you're like running through it and stuff. Like there's probably a whole load of factors that go into it, but it's just something that I noticed because of how I interact with games. Where I'm like, oh yeah, that big hill, I want to turn left or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point.
I love
Great
that
spin-off
both
games. I agree.
I love that both of them dared to do something different with the battle system. That just the little bit of the strong versus agile styles in Arceus was different enough, and I felt that it added a different layer of strategy. I'm glad they didn't adapt it or adopt it rather into the mainline games. I don't think it would have been good in
Mhm.
mainline, but I
Mm-mm.
appreciated that they let themselves do something different. And I will definitely say I like the battle system in ZA more than
Mhm.
in Arceus. I love the running around and the timing and the cooldown of moves and having the
Yes.
closest thing that we've ever had to real-time Pokemon battles. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
just
think
great.
that part's really cool. Like honestly, because it's the same way that they do it in the animes, right?
Yes.
Where it's real-time Pokemon battles.
Mm,
It's not like this turn-based thing. Like you're not waiting for uh the opposing gym leader to do, hmm, maybe I should use Hyper Beam, you know? Like it's a real-time battle, and
yeah.
I really like that they adopted that into these games. Definitely took a little bit of getting used to
Oh, for sure.
when
I'm
I
still
first
getting used to it.
started
Yeah.
ZA.
And I don't
Yeah,
want to see
but
them
I
put it
enjoy
in
that
the
it's
main
different.
line.
I
I
don't want to
think
see them put
mainline
it in the
should
main line.
stay turn-based. I think that the formula they have right now is the right one. It's good, and especially
Yes.
for the competitive scene,
Yeah, I was gonna say for
uh,
competitive especially.
rocking that boat, i-
Mm-mm.
changing it to real time is too fundamental. It's a different game. It's an entirely different game. But I
Yeah.
would love to see give me one spin-off game per gen that has real time in some way, shape, or form. I want
Mhm.
to have real time Pokemon games in the release cycle with moderate regularity, even if it's not the main lines.
Yeah. So I do have two follow-up questions for you on
Ooh.
this topic then. First question, there is a spin-off game that I guess this question has a little bit of a lead up. There's a spin-off game that was only ever released in Japan, the EU, and then Australia, New Zealand. Never made it to North America, no Canada, no Americas. And it was like a Pokemon typing game
Oh,
for the
we were talking
DS.
about typing games earlier.
Yes, so I figured it kind of tied into something we were talking about earlier. Plus, it's a spinoff, and like I never got to try it. Have you
I have
had the
not.
opportunity to play it?
No, I'm
Because I
familiar
think
with it.
that'd
I
be
know it
really cute.
exists. I have not played it.
Yeah, so I guess you like battle, but you battle by typing. So like you
Hmm.
type words, and it like makes your Pokemon attack or something. I think.
Oh, okay. I can see that. And that either speed or
Yeah.
accuracy probably
Yeah,
plays into
speed,
it. That's
speed and
interesting.
accuracy. Yeah, and I thought it was really cool because it was like a DS game, and it came with like a little mini keyboard that like connected to your DS, kind of like
Ooh.
a iPad keyboard that you would connect to your iPad, but like a
Hmm.
keyboard that you connect to your DS, so like a little flat keyboard, and you would learn how to type like that. And I thought that was really cool, and I don't know actually why they never brought it to the US.
Yeah, that feels
Hmm.
like something that would have been great for licensing. Goodness knows they had,
Yeah.
like I was saying, all those other various licensed typing games for different things, but eh.
And then my other question, because you mentioned it, the competitive scene. Have you ever been to Pokemon Worlds or any sort of regional championship?
I attended Pokemon Worlds, uh, did not compete. I have never competed in a high level Pokemon tournament, but I went to the in person event. I think it was 2014 because it was in
Oh,
DC. Um,
oh,
and
nice, nice.
it wasn't nearly as built out as it is today, that they didn't have the store at that point in time. So I sadly do not have any merch, because I do know, and I'm actually going to bring it up before I forget, that we have, not that one, you have some Worlds merch from this past year from Honolulu. So I did not get that from DC, but I got to spectate a couple matches. I did not actually go back for the Sunday. I watched the finals online on Twitch, and I did see Sejun Park's Pachirisu tank the Draco Meteor live. I saw that
awesome.
live, which, for folks who know competitive Pokemon history, would argue is one of the most famous battles in competitive history for Pokemon.
Absolutely.
Just
so that is awesome that you actually got to see that live. I did not really get into the Pokemon competitive scene until recently again. But 2024, this picture that you're showing, I did not actually go to Pokemon Worlds. My mom went to Pokemon Worlds.
Oh, that's right.
In 2024. Because she still lives in Honolulu. I've since moved up to the mainland US. I live in the States now. Yippee! I don't know if I should be happy or sad that I don't live in paradise anymore. But my mom went to Pokemon Worlds in Honolulu 2024, and then she bought me some merch items, which was awesome of her, very kind mother. But I think I sent you a different picture. I went to Pokemon Worlds earlier this year.
Yes.
And it was in Anaheim. And that was really cool. It was my first time being at a live competitive event. And just like you said with the Draco Meteor, but it was not that. It was really cool to just see the battles live, from video game to Pokemon Unite. We also got to see the TCG. And also there was a Pokemon Go championship too. I didn't even know that was competitive. But but that was really cool to see live, and just like the energy from all of the fans.
Oh, yeah.
And this was the first year they did it in a stadium. So it was actually in like an arena. So it was like in a circle shape.
It's so cool that it's finally big enough
matches,
to do that.
With the matches down in the center, like center stage, and like fans sitting all the way around, and it was like really cool to see. So that was a lot of fun. If it's ever in like a accessible place, I could definitely see myself wanting to go again.
Because I feel like
think
the
next year
2014...
it's in San Francisco? Question mark?
That sounds right.
San Francisco?
Yeah.
I think that's right. Next year?
Because I know, like I said, in 2014, it wasn't as built out as it was now, that there wasn't even a shop, that there was only a little bit of a viewing area. But now Worlds is basically a convention at this point, which I think is great. I love that. And what's so cool is I don't watch competitive year-round. I don't keep up with the meta, but you don't need to know competitive strategy to be able to watch and fully comprehend competitive Pokemon. That if you've played and beaten just baseline game of the generation, that you have enough knowledge and familiarity with the Pokemon, the moves, and the items that, I see Wolf Glick using weakness policy on the Torkoal, and it's like, oh, I never thought of that, but I see how that works, and it makes perfect sense to me. And that you don't need to necessarily know anything super number crunchy or terribly advanced mechanically to see it. It's just the folks at the high level have found those combinations and strategies for the pieces that even the layman who is at least, beaten the Elite Four is probably going to know. And I think that's a really good thing for accessibility. And
I do. I think it's really accessible. Yeah, it's accessible to a lot of people at a lot of different levels, and also to kids. Kids just get really excited when they see their favorite Pokemon up on the stage. Like some pros that don't play with the quote unquote meta, and they just throw in somebody like some Whimsicott that they like, and the kid is like,
and the kids can understand. All right, the health bar went down. They won. Yay!
Yeah. So I really love it for that. It was really fun to be there. It was my first time going to an event like that. And like you said, it's like basically a mini convention, just all about Pokemon. There were vendors, like official like Pokemon Center, but there were also like card vendors, like merch vendors.
They have announcements.
Were, like,
they
art
had
classes,
they had
announcements.
A concert at not this year's, but at the 23, where
there was a concert at this one. There was a concert. Yeah, there's a concert at the very end, like after all the tournaments finished, and I know a lot of people left, but they had an ending ceremony concert. It was actually really cool.
Was it an orchestra
In
or
the arena.
was it a vocal performer? Because I know that they
It was
had.
both.
Ooh, neat.
They had an orchestral number, and then they had orchestra with vocals.
Because I know there
And
had
then
been
they did all the Pokemon announcements.
Yeah, because they had the announcements. They had the Pokemon Evolutions, Symphonic Evolutions, I think it was called, tour, and I did go to one of those, which was super neat. And I
Ooh.
know that for the 2023 World Championships in Japan, they had a full orchestral concert, like a full 90-minute one. You can
That would have
find it.
been okay. No, they did not
They,
have
they,
that.
they
It was
have it
like maybe a
on YouTube. You
30-minute
can
thing.
listen to it, and it's really good.
Okay, I might have to do that.
And I'm not surprised they did like a piece or two, but it was a full length orchestra concert in Japan, and I
Yeah.
want to see more of those.
That would be really cool, honestly. Yeah, I think the one that was at the Worlds this past year was just like a 30-minute thing, 30-minute musical thing, and then they brought out all of the Pokemon announcements for upcoming things and changes. Um, and I know this is a picture of pins, but just to go back to my pin collection and love of pins, something that I thought was really cool was in the top right, second from the right of this picture, you can see there's one that says Pin Rally Map. And I thought that was really neat because these were pins, officially licensed Pokemon pins, that you could get at the convention for free. You did not have to spend any money to go get these. You just had to go visit the different booths and do different activities. Like one of them was literally playing Pokemon Stadium games. And like another one was learning about playing the Pokemon TCG, like the Pokemon Play Lab. And one of them was like learning about the Pokemon Trainer Club and how to get involved in like local events throughout the United States and things like that, which was really cool. And you could go around and do these different activities, and they gave you like a free pin. And when you completed the pin rally map, you got a prize, which was, I think, really fun.
That's so
activity for the weekend.
cool. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, and you get the cute pins. So I
Mhm.
loved it. It was fun.
I didn't actually get a chance to ask when we were initially going over your pin collection. Do you have
Mhm.
a favorite pin? I know that's probably a difficult question with how many, but I'll I'll make it slightly easier. I will say, do you have a favorite pin of each of your three categories that you had? It was Disney
Of each
pins,
of my three
Pokemon
categories.
pins, and then no, sorry, it was Disney pins, video game pins, and travel pins. So one of each.
Yeah. So for the Disney side, I think that my favorite pin. Ooh. Um. I have a pin that is like the Disneyland D with a diamond in the middle and Alice from Alice in Wonderland together on it. And it was one of the
Mm.
limited edition pins that was released for the Disneyland 60th Diamond Celebration anniversary. That might be my favorite Disney pin, honestly. Favorite, but I have a lot of pins that I like. But favorite video game slash anime pin? Um, I have a. That's hard. I have a Pokemon Center Tokyo Skytree pin. It's Pikachu riding Rayquaza, and I think
Ooh.
that one's really cool for my video game slash anime slash Pokemon collection.
Mhm.
And then for the travel pins, travel pins. I guess I would probably say it's between two, and they're both from my recent trip to Japan, actually. I have a pin that I got from the Osaka Imperial Castle. That was probably my favorite, like, cultural landmark thing that we did when we went on this recent trip, vacation, was that castle. So I
Mhm.
got a pin from there, and that is really pretty. Showcases the castle and the golden like gilding on it. That's really pretty. And then also while we were there, it was like the 13th anniversary for the Tokyo Sky Tree, and I got like a little 13th anniversary pin for the Tokyo Sky Tree, and I think that one's really cute as well.
Ooh. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you've been promoted to the head of game design at the Pokemon Company International. You've been given a unlimited budget and the free reign to design whatever game you want for the next Pokemon title. What are you making?
Ayo, Pokemon Nintendogs.
Ooh. Ooh.
Wait, is that a real question?
That is a question that I ask all the guests that are really into Pokemon, of just, you're head of game design and you can do whatever genre, spin-off, anything that you want, what are you making? And I've gotten, some people have said, I want to make the next Mystery Dungeon game of, it's been however long, I want to make a new one and give the full Switch treatment and everything. I've had ones say different, spin-offs or full RPGs, different things like that. Pokemon Nintendogs. One, I have never heard that style of answer before. Two, the succinctness of just, you didn't even need to bother with a full pitch, just those two words, and I completely understand the concept. And three, the answer was instant. You didn't... Sometimes people think, it's like, what would I want? You knew.
I just think it'd be really cozy. Like, they've done, like, little aspects of it already in games. I think Sun and Moon was really on point with that. Like, you could feed your Pokemon the Pokepuffs, you could pet them, you can groom them. They have, like, the blow dryer and the comb and the brush for, like, the different statuses. Yeah! And I think that'd be really cute as a game. Like, I know, like, there's a whole portion... couple years of my life where I was really into Nintendogs, and I'm sure there were a lot of other people who really enjoyed Nintendogs too. Like genders aside, like everybody likes dogs, right? Like everybody loves Pokemon, and I think it'd be really cute.
I can completely see that of just being entirely viable. That my dream Pokemon game, I know and fully accept will never ever happen, and I want a full RPG, like on the lines of a Fallout or a Skyrim game where you can choose to be the villain. That I want a game where you start out as a new Team Rocket grunt, and that you're sent on missions, and
that's interesting.
After missions you have to have sort of a cooldown period. You need to lay low before the next mission, and that's sort of when you train and catch Pokemon. But
that'd be cool, like a parallel universe where you're.
But that in one of the first missions, you run into a Jenny. And you have the option of, do you fight the Jenny, or they say, do you want to be a mole? Do you want to try and, be our run on the inside?
What you're doing there.
Do you want to then become an informant? Do you want to double cross the Jennies of say, all right, I will be your mole, I'll be the informant, and then feed them wrong information? Do you want to overthrow Giovanni? Do you want to become the head of Team Rocket?
Like a spy movie with Pokemon merged together.
Just the option of, all right, I could become the informant and help bring down Team Rocket entirely and become this big hero and hotshot at the, the Looker Agency or something. Or I can knock off Giovanni. Or I can just become an admin. I can work my way up the ranks. And, I don't want to have the trouble of running this whole operation, but I'm going to get mine. I'm going to do well. I'm going to command respect, and I'm going to be the boss's right hand. We're never going to get that game. The Pokemon will not allow you to ever actually be a villain. We're never going to get to be a villain. But I want to.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a really cool game concept, though. I do enjoy that.
But yours, I think, is so realistic. Pokemon Nintendogs, they could make. They could announce that tomorrow, and it would make money.
Would be really cute. Like, if you just had, even if it was like a set list, like Nintendogs had a set list and people still enjoyed it, it's kind of like Tamagotchi, too, and it plays into, like, that Pokewalker thing that they had. They brought that back, too, with it.
They half designed it with all the different ones, like you were saying, of just what they had in Sun and Moon, and even now, the ability to interact and play and take pictures of your Pokemon has become a core mechanic in the past 2 generations. That we had it in Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, and we have it in ZA. That you see people all the time, sort of interacting. It's not the main focus of the game, but these systems and interactions and a number of animations are already in place.
Yeah.
I feel like we're halfway there to actually just designing your concept.
And then they had, like, in Nintendogs, you could participate in, like, I think agility contests and then also like pageants.
We had
And I
the
feel like we
contest in
kind of
Gen
already
3.
have the
We've done
contest,
this
yeah,
before.
in Gen 3. But like maybe agility contest could be cool, like if you were training
Yeah.
like a Litleo or a Shinx or something,
Mm-hmm.
or like Vulpix or and then they could run through these obstacle courses, and I think it'd be a really cool concept. I don't know, it's just like very cute, like low key, not the RPG style. It'd be totally a spin-off game, but I think it'd be cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zardock actually had my exact train of thought of some of the stadium mini games were already half there. That there was like a rat-a-tat jump thing in one of them, and just different timing-based games, rhythm-based games that you could say where you're sort of piloting the Pokemon, but it's you training them or whatever. You can justify a hand wave, what have you. But again, I feel like all of these different aspects exist spread out across the different Pokemon games that are already made. We just need to gather them all into a single game.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my idea. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my mind when you asked that question, but I think it'd be cute.
Oh, I love that.
Awesome. Did you have any other questions for me?
Well, I do have a couple of last questions I do ask all my guests because I do know it's getting a little bit late. One that I always ask is, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? And we're in November now, so there's not as much as it used to be. That the color of this question varies a lot depending on when I ask it. I ask it regardless of the time of the year. But in January, it's all right, you have a whole year ahead of you. What do you want to do? But now it's okay, you have a month and a half, 2 months left. Is there anything here
month and a half left.
at the home stretch of the year that you want to accomplish, whether it's a particular project or if there is a stream that you want to do, anything at all that you're hoping to hit before we get to 2026?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first off, personal goal. My family is actually going to be coming up from Hawaii for Thanksgiving to see my new place for the first time. So my personal goal is I would like to be 90% unpacked by the time they get here.
A very fair, realistic, and understandable goal.
Yes. Have most things set up. Like, I understand, like, moving is a process. It takes time. You're always going to be finding new things and going, oh, that'd be cool, But, like, I want to, like, at least have most of the stuff that I brought with me, like, out of boxes,
Yeah.
So that's my personal goal for, I guess, kind of for the end of the year. But realistically, in the next couple of weeks here. Streaming goal? I think Tane and I are trying to finish Haglock before the end of the year. We're getting pretty close. We just beat gym number 8. So if memory serves me right, we should have Victory Road, the Elite Four, and the Delta episode.
Okay, so we are including the Delta episode.
We are including the Delta episode. So we have those 3 main things left, I'm pretty sure, and then it's whatever exploration or sidetracking we find ourselves on. But we're trying to finish that series before the end of the year, and we've already talked about another future collab series together, which I don't know if I'm supposed to say yet because I don't know if she's talked about it yet, so I won't say it. But we're trying to finish that one so we can start a new one in 2026. So that's another like little streaming goal, and then also, before the end of the year, I would like to do one more karaoke stream. It will most likely be a Christmas karaoke stream where we sing a majority of Christmas songs and maybe sprinkle some Disney and Broadway in there.
Will you sing the Pokemon Christmas songs? Do you know that album? That terrible, cringy, just...
I will...
Oh,
no.
gosh.
No.
Again, understandable.
I will not, but I know it exists.
It is such a visceral experience. I forget who it was that went through that last year, just listening to it and just hearing and realize, oh, wow, they really were reaching for a lot of these puns. Some executive said, Pokemon's a big thing right now. We got to make a Pokemon Christmas album. And I do not think that the person who wrote that wanted to write that. I think that they were told, write this because we're going to give you a good amount of money to do it, / you are required to do it because you're our staff composer or whatever, and just, whew. Some things from Pokemon have aged well that I'm not even going to say age. I think it was just bad to begin with, and I don't think that even people who, you would have to be like 6, 7, 8 to be able to enjoy that.
I
It
mean, I
sure
know it
was a
exists. I
thing.
can't even remember what it sounds like. I think it was like,
Don't worry.
not to say that it was bad, but it was that bad that I blocked it out of my memory.
It will cause psychic damage. And the last question I ask all my guests is, what does being a VTuber mean to you? And that's not what is the definition of a VTuber, but VTubing means
Wow,
different things
what a
to
deep
different
question.
people. And some folks have said it lets me get in touch with my inner child. It lets me be someone I can't be in real life. Some people have very deep personal connections to their model and to the medium. Others have said it's a tool I use as an entertainer. I love my model. I think it looks really cool. And I love that it lets me ignore the laws of physics and do funny gimmicks and be a showman in ways that I couldn't be if I had to be IRL and bound by the laws of reality. Or just that it is a mask that lets me have one persona while I still get to have my other. And there's things between and beyond. There's no single one right way to be a VTuber. But for you, Amai Ami, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
I mean, I think I'd just like to echo like all the things that you just said that past guests have said. Like, it's a medium for entertaining. It's a medium for expressing myself. I think it's, in a way, just a fun way to be able to create a community and host a persona. I don't really feel like I roleplay much as my VTuber. I feel like in my VTuber, I'm very much myself. Like, a lot of the advice that I'll give or a lot of the opinions that I express are very much just me and who I am. I really like, am I allowed to say this? I really like not having to wear pants in the summer.
A fair valid thing. And, you know, you're not the first to say that either. And it's a half joke, but it's real.
It's so real. Like, in the winter months, it's cold. So it's like, of course, I'm like wearing pants. Like, right now I'm wearing pants. But in the summer, when it's hot, it's like, maybe I don't want to wear pants. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. That's not what being a VTuber
Trust
means
me,
to
people
me,
have said far worse things on this show.
But, like, I guess, like, being a VTuber, it's really just, whether it's a way to express yourself or if it's just you being yourself, at the end of the day, I feel like being a VTuber is showing a side of yourself that you love. Because I feel like a lot of VTubers, like, love anime. Like, not every VTuber, but a lot of VTubers love anime. That's why we're anime-coded, anime core.
We didn't even get to anime.
We did not even get to anime. We just didn't. I know we talked about it, but, you know, the train of thought just never landed at that station, and that's okay. But whether that's, like, an extension of yourself, and for me, like, I didn't create, like, big, heavy lore about Amai. Like, really, when I did my debut, my lore was one PowerPoint slide. It's like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. Okay, moving on. But I don't know. I guess it's just a conglomeration of, like, things that I enjoy and find, you know, aesthetically pleasing, and that I have fun with. I love that my VTuber is so expressive and bouncy, and I really love the art style. Just to give you, like, a little bit of background into lore, when I was creating this character, I just thought of things that I liked. So my favorite Pokemon, I know we didn't even get to that, but my favorite Pokemon has been for the longest time Vulpix. And then when
Alolan Vulpix. Yeah, yes, looking at your model, that it was very easy. It was like, it could just be Alolan Vulpix. It could just be that simple. But it might not be. Maybe she just, like, you know, the idea of sort of an ice fox and, you know, blue anyways. That I could see it not being related. But you saying Alolan Vulpix was like, okay, yeah, because it is 100% Alolan Vulpix coded.
Yes, it is. But my favorite Pokemon was always, like, Vulpix, and then Alola region came along, and Alolan Vulpix came in as, like, my quote-unquote new favorite. But I still love Vulpix, but I love Alolan Vulpix. It's my favorite Pokemon. A lot of people just see the plethora of the tails, and they're like, oh my god, nine-tailed fox. And I'm like, actually, no, just 6 tails.
Just 6.
Just 6. And you know why just 6? And they're like, because you're only like 6,000 years old. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not that much of a hag, please. But six because Vulpix has six tails. And that's really just as simple as it gets. I know some people create really complicated models and they look really pretty. More power to the people that have the brain energy to design something like that. But for me, I just really wanted something that, you know, I liked, I enjoyed, and something that was easily accessible again to a lot of folks and easily digestible for a lot of folks. Sometimes overly complicated designs, I think, while they look cool, can be like a little overstimulating for some people. And I really wanted to aim for creating a cozy, comfy place for people to hang out. That's kind of how I ended up on the sweater as well, just something like cozy, comfy. And so I guess for me, being a VTuber is just another way to help me to create a space for people to be able to feel safe and comfortable hanging out with each other, to share conversation, create friendships, create memories, and basically have fun together. Yeah.
I always ask that at the end of the show because it sort of helps put a bow on things and that the answers always make sense, even if I don't know what they're going to be, that people have their consistency and just sometimes there's direct lines of thought and threads that you can see from throughout the show, and sometimes it just matches the vibe, and that definitely with you, everything that you do for your content and very much for yourself as well is just comfy vibes, having a good time, making sure the folks are comfortable, making sure that you're creating a space for others and for yourself that is going to be conducive to a good time. And it's been so much fun chatting with you and finding out that we have a mildly unusual amount of things in common. Like, I feel like we need to chat after this and be like, wait a minute, so, okay, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Because
I know, that's insane. Like, these are like all tangents that we went on today were like nothing that we talked about during the pre-show.
We knew that.
I think the only thing that we talked about was Pokemon and pins. Everything else was like completely random.
We talked a bit about anime and just, Pokemon and anime as similar interests statistically is not anything of note. Those are two pretty wide generic things that's just how that is. But okay, teehee, wow, both trombone, but then we get into some of these other ones like, what the heck, have we been living sort of parallel lives at opposite ends of just of
it's literally like, hey, wait, you were at that event? I was at that event. Excuse me.
you were a band kid and a theater kid too, because there's plenty of band and theater kids, but the number that are going to be doing both, I don't know about your school, but for mine, there was maybe a dozen at my school, because each takes a lot of time. That it's not the most absurd thing, but it's not common.
Right. But I feel like you said earlier, just the theater kid, or even to an extent, I feel like there's a lot of music VTubers out there, whether it's like vocally or actually with their instrument. Like, I feel like those are two pretty common things to bring into the VTuber content creation sphere, more so than other segments of content creation.
For sure. I feel like the tier of the theater kid to VTuber pipeline is the biggest, followed by the chorus kid to VTuber pipeline, and then the band kid to VTuber pipeline a little bit below those two.
Yeah, I would say that as well. Or just also the anime video game core kids. I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's quite a few of those that are also VTubers.
But it usually ends up being the anime kid who was in band or chorus.
Yes. Agreed.
But this has been so much fun. I am so glad that we were able to take some time while unpacking. I have one small, well, it's not even really an announcement myself, but a little shout out that I want to give, which is that starting this Friday is the annual Desert Bus for Hope charity marathon. Ooh. It is an event that is very near and dear to my heart. It is the one that inspired my own charity marathon. It is to support Child's Play charity. It is run by an incredible group of creators called Loading Ready Run. They have been around for, I think it's been, because this is like 18, 19 of Desert Bus?
I don't know, but that's a lot of years.
I need to figure out, but they have raised over the lifetime of the event over $11 million for Child's Play.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
They are the biggest annual donor to Child's Play, and they do amazing work, and it is literally 24 hours a day that they play the infamous game Desert Bus, which was a mini game on Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors, a unreleased game for the Sega CD, where you drive from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada in real time on a straight road for an 8-hour trip.
Wow.
And if you take your foot off the gas too long, or if you veer off the road because your bus has a slight list to the left, you need to actively be steering or you will go off the road. And then you get dragged back to your starting point in real time. And if you get to the goal, you get 1 point. And then you do the return trip. Ad nauseum, there is no end to this game. It was a gag game. It was not meant to be a game. It was a joke. And they play that game infinitely. It costs $1 to get them to play for 1 hour. The second hour costs $1.07, and it compounds by 7% every hour. So the first date takes about $100 to fund the first 24 hours. By the time you get to day 5, it's starting to be $20,000 an hour. By the time you're up to day 6, it's like $60,000 an hour. And you quickly hit sort of a wall of practicality at around the 7-day mark, and that for the past several years that the event goes almost 7 days exactly is what it ends up being.
That's
but
crazy.
That they have, while this game is in the background, it's not just, all right, that's everything going on. That is taking up 10% of the screen in the lower corner. But then throughout those 24 hours a day for 7 days, it is skits, bits, interviews, live auctions, silent auctions, challenges that you can, on their website, say, if you do funny thing, I will donate amount of money. And they will go through their active list as it goes and be like, all right, hey, person said they do this. Let's do that funny thing. Let's make a human pyramid, or let's act out this scene, or let's react to this video. And it is a soul cleansing experience for me every year.
That sounds so
tune
fun.
into this
and so
marathon
too.
And that it is so entertaining. You will laugh, you will cry. Not joking, you will cry because, they talk on some serious topics, that this is raising money for games and therapeutic game development for kids in hospitals. And that, naturally they're going to talk about that. It's not going to be the entirety because, they want the general mood to be levity, but they take time to acknowledge the seriousness of the types of things that they are looking to make less painful and less scary for kids in hospitals. And
absolutely,
I just cannot recommend it enough, and it is why my annual charity marathon is for Child's Play. So it is the one time a year that I watch the least amount of VTubers. No joke. So
that's amazing, though.
If
that
you
is
have time,
such a cool.
They start this Friday when we'll go for about a week nonstop. So, maybe just have an extra tab up and tune in every now and again. Doesn't matter what hour of the day they'll be going. So if all the folks that you normally want to tune in to aren't live at that point, maybe hop over and watch Desert Bus for a little bit. Something fun will be going on.
Yeah. Sounds like an amazing charity and an amazing time. I'll definitely have to tune in at some point.
But then it'll mean that my 5th anniversary charity marathon planning has to start soon, which will be in mid-January, because that's when the anniversary is. And like I mentioned to you just before we went live, Amai, that you'll be hearing from me in probably about a month's time as I start to do all the proper planning and groundwork for that, because 5th year is going to be a big year. Parents are finding out about the show, and by that point, it's going to be, 180 guests, 180 invites to send out.
Huge!
So
I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of
fun. Also, 5 years! Big milestone!
Yeah.
This human constructed, what did we call
Base
it?
10 counting system
Base
means
10,
that the 5...
The big 5!
Yeah. But again, thank you so much, and thank you to folks who've been tuning in. I thought that I had fixed the follow notifications, and I tested them on Stream Elements before I went live, and they still are not working, and I am not sure why.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to figure that out. But Average Nerd 2012, Beetlejuice 9501, and Blaze Gaming 011, thank you so much for the follows. I know those were a while back, and I am not sure because the YouTube one seems to have broken entirely on mine, because even the chat broke, unfortunately. But
Oof,
to folks who've been over there,
again.
that Evie Devi, I see you base on, yes, hello from Switzerland if you all are still in there. Sans, yes,
Ooh,
that is indeed a microphone. And have I ever met a bear in Japan? They use sort of
have
a
you?
smirky emoji, so I can't tell if that's supposed to mean something else. I'm going to say no either way. But thank you all so
Oh,
much for tuning in, whether you are on Twitch or on YouTube, or if you're watching the VOD. Hi, VOD folks. Like,
hi,
comment,
VOD
subscribe, and
folks!
stuff. Yay.
Yay!
And
Technology, a blessing and a curse.
and if for some absurd reason you aren't already following Amai, please be sure to do that. My, I
Yay!
hope it's not too close to that other shadow. Okay, cool, great. Yeah. So, and thank you all for tuning in, and thank you to Amai for taking time out to be here. This has been so much fun. Last question of the show. Who would you like us
Okay.
to raid?
Oh, I was not prepared for
The toughest
that.
question I ask all night.
Oh my
The stinger at the
gosh.
end.
I mean, if you'd like to, Tani is streaming right now. I'm gonna be collabing with her tomorrow, and she
Perfect.
just came back from Japan.
Yes, she
So
did.
she is hosting her stream anniversary right now, and I think that would be a really great target.
Yes. Awesome. Yes. Tane, she was back in year one. I think, I can't remember if she's actually been on every prior charity marathon or if it's at least been 3. She is a regular and
Oh, yay!
very dear friend and just amazing person. So do be sure to follow Tane as well, and be sure to tune in for some fun Haglock streaming tomorrow with both Tane and Amai. And
Yay!
yeah, so thank you all again so much. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. I'm Jay. This is VTuber Talk. Like, follow, subscribe, something like that for everybody. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye!